This is a regular meeting of the Newburgh Enlarged City School District. I welcome everybody in person. I welcome everybody online. We'll get going tonight with the roll call.
Ms. Christine Bello,
Here.
Ms. Thomasina Bello,
Here.
Ms. Boucher, Mr. Bergarelli,
Present.
Ms. Burks,
Here.
Mr. Duray,
Present.
Mr. Howard,
Here.
Mr. Levenstein,
Here.
Ms. Politi.
Here.
Thank you. Item 2 on the agenda is the budget workshop. It's being presented tonight by Ms. Roaring.
Good evening. Tonight we are presenting the superintendent's proposed budget for the 26-27 fiscal year. Or not. Next slide. As part of our presentation, we're going to provide updated data around the substitute and attendance by Ms. Holder. We're also going to share out the superintendent's proposed budget, expense, and revenue. We're going to look at our staffing changes and requests. We're going to review again the use of restricted reserves and fund balance, share the multi-year projected revenue and expense, review one more time our restricted funds, which are not additional dollars, and then review our next steps. Next slide, please.
So the substitute data in my last presentation, the board asked me to provide some more information. So these are the expenses for the 25-26 school year so far, because that wasn't under previous presentation. And just to note that this is as of 3/11/2026. Next slide. So this information is very good to review because absences in the district for the 24-25 school year were 42,279.69. This school year, as of March 10th, it's 22,690.65, which is a marked decrease, but of course it's not the whole year. So we did a month-by-month comparison. It's important to note the sick day call-outs in 24-25 was 22,548. The sick day call-outs this year are 13,440. And so we see the 17.4% decrease in absences, and we see an 8.3% decrease in sick day call-outs. And when we go down to the bottom chart, I think it was Mr. Levenstein that asked me last time that it would be interesting to see what we would project to have at the end of the school year. So we had the computer projected, it's 34,908.69, which is almost a 10,000 call-out decrease for the year. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Holder. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So the proposed superintendent's proposed budget for 26-27 totals $394,068,884. It's important to note that our salary and benefits expenditures continue to be the largest portions of our budget, followed by our supplies, contract services, tuition, and equipment. Next slide, please. So we shared this at the last meeting. Our proposed staffing reductions for 26-27 remain at 35.6 positions. These are all done through retirements and vacancies. There are no layoffs in these reductions. Next slide, please. We are proposing 7 positions for 26-27 that are not associated with the opening of the CTE building. They include 6 positions for exceptional learners, including behaviorists, CSE, CPSE chairpeople, and a data processing clerk, as well as a chief custodian on the PM shift for operations and maintenance. Ms. McKitty-Bromley reviewed those positions with you in greater detail when she presented back on February 24th. Next slide, please. So here we shared last time as well our staffing CTE needs. We continue to remain at that 26 FTE. This includes 17 positions that are being reassigned to the CTE building and 9 positions that are newly created. 3 for security, 2 for facilities, and the remaining are faculty for new programming and 1 because of the enrollment continuing to grow in that area. Next slide, please. Next. So we are presenting our budget as the 3-part, which we always do as part of budget development. You'll see here that the program component of the budget continues to be the largest area of our budget, increasing by over $13.2 million year over year, followed by administration component, which is up to 42.3, and our capital component, which remains relatively flat. It's important to note that the capital component reflected here does include our operations and facilities department, inclusive of utilities. Our total, as you see, is $394,068,884. Next slide, please. So here we've broken out the revenue projection for next year into a pie chart. You'll see here that the orange is the largest part of that pie, and that is our state aid, followed by the lighter blue, which is our local sources of revenue, inclusive of our tax levy and pilot payments. And then the other is combined federal and appropriated funds, which totals about $9.5 million. So to make that clearer, we've broken that out to the right-hand side there, and you'll see that 8.8 of that is the use of appropriated funds. Next slide, please. As we have been sharing throughout the budget development process, we break our revenue down into 3 categories, and the first category is our local revenue, which is inclusive of our property tax levy. It's important to note that the real property tax line added to the STAR reimbursement line is what produces that total tax levy at $113.6 million, which is the exact same amount as 25-26. Next slide, please. Here is our state aid. You will see the increase in the Contract for Excellence restricted funds. There is a decrease in our general foundation aid. We also have increases associated with reimbursement aids or expense-driven aids, such as our BOE special service aid, our transportation aid, and our building aid. You'll see small decreases in the categorical aids at the bottom associated with instructional materials, and that is due to declining enrollment in the district. Next slide, please. Here is our federal and other category of revenue. You'll see an increase in our other federal aid. This is associated with our JROTC program. We are anticipating relatively flat Medicaid assistance, and then we have the use of appropriated reserves and appropriated fund balance for next year, getting us to that total of $394,068,884. This is roughly a 3.9% increase over 25-26. The overall state aid increase is $14.1 million of that 14.8. That is directly attributable to those expense-driven aids for BOE services, transportation, and building aid. The revenue assumptions also include a flat tax levy and a reduction in the use of one-time funds in alignment with the board's goal of reducing that by 5%. This chart has also been shared throughout budget development. It lists the restricted reserves that the board has established. Those that are highlighted in green are the ones that we can use as a revenue source in our annual operating budget. Next slide, please. This table shows what our planned use is for 26-27. You'll see that we plan to use money from our workers' comp reserve to offset those expenditures, as well as our unemployment insurance, teachers' retirement, and employees' retirement to offset those expenditures, as well as the use of unassigned fund balance at the bottom at $3.7 million. Here we're looking at our multi-year revenue projections. In the far right column, you'll see the assumptions used in deriving these numbers. We are assuming that our local revenue will stay flat with a flat tax levy. We are assuming a 4% increase in our state aid, which will continue to be largely driven by our expense-based aids. We are assuming a 1% increase in our federal aid, largely attributable to adjustments made in the Medicaid assistance. And our appropriated fund balance will continue to decrease by 5%, each year. So you'll see that the revenue is increasing roughly 2.6% year over year over the next 3 years beyond 26-27. When we look at the multi-year expense projections, again, that far right-hand column denotes the assumptions used. We are assuming salary increases of 2.8%. We are assuming a benefits increase of 5%, which may be a little bit aggressive given the health insurance rates we see. Debt service at 5%, supplies, contract services, tuition, and equipment at 3%. It's important to note in here includes our transportation. That contract goes up every year by a CPI. This year, that was a little less than 4%. And typically, we see about a 5% increase in tuition, so we will be looking at those other lines to identify some cost savings to maintain that 3% year-over-year increase. The bottom line there is our transfer to special aid. That is the district's obligation for the 12-month special education program. We are assuming that increases by about $200,000 a year, and that's associated with rising costs for faculty and staff, as well as transportation, and our potential for some increase in enrollment there. You'll see here the year-over-year difference is $3.59 million, or roughly 1% more than our revenue growth is each year. Next slide, please. This bears out that comparison. So when you line up the revenue and expense, at this time, based on those assumptions, we would anticipate a difference between the revenue and expense next year of $4.16 million. It goes to 8.4 in 28-29 and 12.7 in 29-30. So we will be continuing to evaluate programs and staffing needs as our district continues to adjust. Again, the expenses are increasing at 3.59, while the revenue is only at 2.6. We've been talking about the Contract for Excellence restricted funds throughout the budget development process. This is a program that was started at the state in 2007-2008. For an extended period of time, we saw a relatively flat set aside here are restricted funds. It's important to note that these are not additional funds. These are funds within the district's foundation aid that we are told how we will spend them and what schools we will allocate how much to. Beginning with the 23-24 school year, we started seeing an annual $4.1 million increase in these restricted funds. The amount for 26-27, as we have been advised by SED at this time, is going up to $26.1 million. That will be officially finalized after the state adopts its budget. The state is currently going through a 5-year phase-in on this. You may recall a couple years ago we were going through a 3-year phase-in and fully funding foundation aid. They are now in a 5-year phase-in to fully match where their target is for the Contract for Excellence set-aside restricted funds. In that phase-in, they expect that to end in 27-28 at a total of more than $30.3 million. Again, these dollars are prescribed in how they can be spent and how much is allocated to each school, largely based on student outcomes. Next slide, please. This quick chart shows that $4.193 million increase annually. You will see it's off by about $1 every year to get to that target of 30.34. And in the 5 years, the restricted funds has more than tripled. The district continues to allocate these across 5 categories: time on task, middle high school restructuring, teacher principal quality, our pre-K program, and our English language learner students. These restricted funds currently support 130 positions in the 25-26 school year. Next slide, please. Those positions are listed here. You will see there's a large number of E&L teachers supporting that population. We have 26 positions dedicated to our full-day pre-K program. We have 18 guidance counselors and 9 social workers in our PPS staff, as well as 7.59 in psychologists for that total of 130 positions. In addition to that, these restricted funds also support at this time our pre-K transportation expense, as well as pre-K supplies, and the employee benefits and payroll taxes associated with those salaries. In 2027, we anticipate adding these positions identified here as part of that increase in restricted funds, and that's associated with our high school restructuring for the new CTE building. The other category of restricted funds that the district has is the community schools. This is $837,000. We intend to continue supporting 2 psychologists, 3 social workers, and 3 parent coordinators with this restricted fund. At this time, we would anticipate the board would adopt the budget on April 7th, and we open the floor to questions.
Ms. Bello.
Yeah, I would just like to follow up on, I'm wondering if I am going to get the detailed information that I requested on March 2nd and again on March 12th, so that I can make an informed decision on the budget.
I believe I answered every email and told you how that request was directed.
So is that a yes or a no? Your answer was received, I'll pass it on. Something, paraphrasing, of course.
No, that was not it. It it was referred to the superintendent and finance office. That was the response.
So can I request of the superintendent, will I receive that information?
Could you clarify just exactly what you need? I thought we answered those questions at the last board meeting and told you where they were located, so.
And then I followed up with that to let you know that the warrant reports do not satisfy that requirement. The warrant reports are basically individual payments, vendor amounts, date, that sort of thing. But what I was asking for was the total spending by office for the offices that I listed, summarized, each, not random payments here and there like the warrant reports show, but all itemized under each office. I think I was pretty explicit in my email.
I thought we were pretty explicit when we responded at the last board meeting, when we told you where they were.
They are not itemized by office. Okay, that's okay. But if you expect me to support a budget when I'm not fully informed, I don't do that. Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mr. Levinstein.
So I just have some questions regarding the staffing for the CTE that's listed. 26 full-time positions. Is that what is going to be manning the whole school? Is there anything else beside these 26, or is that it?
So I can start this and Dr. Soto can follow up. So at this time, based on our programming for next year, we are anticipating the need of just these 26 positions. I assume that that will continue to change as we move forward, but Dr. Soto can provide more information.
That's correct, Ms. Roaring. That all depends on the enrollment numbers. Currently, those positions are what we're called for, based on our student enrollment numbers.
So, but they just seem, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'll also add that there will be some transfers that will occur as well. Is that what you're asking, that number seems a little bit low? Is that all the positions that will be in that building?
That was my question. Is
Yes.
that is 26
No.
all the
No.
positions?
No.
Because I wouldn't think that is
No.
feasible.
No, we will have additional positions, but those new positions that are proposed are just additional positions based on the programs that we are running. So it's an addition to.
Okay, so, all right, I get that, then I'd like to see that when that is all settled, when we know, because it didn't seem like this was possible. Another thing that I'd like to bring up, Mr. President, is the transportation aid that went up $6 million. Now, I do know that normally they're a year behind, I think, to what they do, and to go up 40%, I know we didn't have a 40%, well, I hope we didn't have a 40% increase in cost for transportation.
So this is probably a multi-pronged response. I'm going to start by saying, when we had the federal one-time dollars for Sarissa and ARP, a great deal of transportation expense was shifted, so the general fund did not absorb it all. So we did see an increase in 24-25, and we've seen an increase in 25-26 as that full transportation expense is brought into the general fund again. So with that increase, it is a year lag. So as we look into 26-27, that is based on what the projected 25-26 expenditure is, based on our reporting to the state at this time. We anticipate it will be at least as high as what we have reported, as we are looking at potentially reallocating dollars in to cover some additional runs that have been required as we've moved throughout the year. We also are now picking up all the after-school transportation that isn't covered by a grant because we don't have those one-time sources.
Thank you.
Ms. Peterson, did you have something? Anyone else? I will say I'm strongly encouraged by the attendance numbers, because that has a direct dollar value and I'm not sure what happened in 24, 25, but it approached $6 million, so we're going to be about half of that this year. Always room for improvement, but dropping it by 50% is significant, so thank you. Anyone else before we close it out? All right. We're going to move to item 3, executive session. Be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby recesses into executive session for the following purpose: matters made confidential under FERPA, matters leading to the employment of particular employees or corporations, employment history of employees or corporations, collective bargaining under the Taylor Law, and to obtain advice from legal counsel. Get a motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Roll call, Ms. Thomasina Bello,
Yes.
Ms. Boucher,
Yes.
Mr. Bergarelli,
Yes.
Ms. Burks,
Yes.
Mr. DeRay.
Yes.
Mr. Howard,
Yes.
Mr. Levinstein.
Yes.
Ms. Politi,
Yes.
Ms. Christine Bello.
Yes.
Thank you. We are back in public session. We're at item 3.3, Pledge of Allegiance, tonight by Mr. Bergarelli.
Please remain standing for a moment of silent meditation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bergarelli. Before we get to 4.1, just a couple of comments, as I often make. Just a reminder, our mission is to educate and empower our students to build their futures and support their community. And our vision is to create voice, choice, and opportunity for all goalbacks. As a board, we've been striving to stay connected to the work happening across our schools, being present, listening, and seeing firsthand what our students and staff experience every day. This idea is often called management by walking around. It came from a book in 1982 called In Search of Excellence. At this point in my life, it's observing by walking around, not really managing anything. Same with any other board member, but we do a lot of observing. So the lesson still applies today, and I just want to, as I try to do, give some examples of the great things that happen here, because there are voices within the community that would have you believe we are just on a downward spiral, and nothing could be farther from the truth. So I'll start off. Last week, there was a 5th grade math meet. It was called the Escape Room, and it was at the Armory. Mr. Kaplan was there, just an amazing community resource. It was facilitated by Zoe Matthews from Baumville and Bob Conti, 5th grade Fostertown, along with a ton of volunteers. I couldn't go through all the names, but I will say a couple. Phil Howard was there, Mark Levinstein was there, principals were there. It was just it was an event where I think the adults had more fun than the kids. But the important thing was, a group of schools, they got together, the kids never met each other, they formed teams, no calculators, long division, multiplication, they solved all these problems. So do we have a math issue? Yes, we do. Are we working on it? Yes, we are. Yesterday, Black History Month Assembly at North, Mr. Dotto, Torrance Harvey, I didn't know Torrance Harvey could sing so well, but he sings very, very well. I did learn that yesterday. Phil Howard gave the keynote speech. Dr. Mack was there, Mr. Williams. But also 2 students spoke, Mamuna Jemay, and I identify her because she spoke. Her parents are from a West African country. And what she talked about was the value of education, something we key on. Get educated. That's your key. That's your key to freedom. She spoke very, very well, and it was just a pleasure to listen to her journey. Then the second speaker was Anissa Abdul Kabir. She profiled 4 prominent African Americans who played major roles in the history of America. Again, she did her homework. It was fantastic. Dr. Mack was there observing the whole thing, and then Dr. Mack stood up and gave the kids homework. So she's a teacher, and she gave them other names they didn't mention to study. So it was really a great morning. Yesterday, yesterday midday at GAMS, Mr. Glowacki and his wonderful staff, always welcoming, we were evaluating reading programs. Again, we keep on hearing, you're not reading, you're not teaching reading, you got it all wrong. But the people saying that just aren't in the classrooms. That's why you observe by walking around. And we went in, and I'm a layperson. I'm not an educational person. They gave me a form to evaluate. I didn't use it because I don't exactly know what I'm evaluating. But the people I was with know what they're doing. And to watch these kids learn how to read in many classes, we did pre-K, we did K, we did first grade, and then we had a debrief at the end. There's a lot of effort being put into what's next for reading within this district. And Dr. O'Grady heads that up with Dr. Manning, and it's just a fantastic effort. Yesterday afternoon, there was a CTE planning committee right in this building, presented by Dr. Soto, Mr. Dotto, along with Dr. Manning, Dr. Sklar, Ms. Peterson, Mr. McGrath, and again, a student, Kail Torres Diaz, was there representing the students, and he had an awful lot of input in terms of what are the students looking for in this new building. Point of the story, every day we have victories in this district, every single day. I told you 4 stories. If I worked all week long and every board member did it all week long, we would have hundreds of positive stories that are happening in these buildings, regardless of what you keep hearing. So I ask people keep up the good work. We're doing very, very well, and we're going to move on to item 4.1, comments on agenda items.
The first person signed up to speak is Mr. David Ryan.
Check, check. Thanks for not meeting my request for accommodation for ADA. Good evening. My name is David Ryan. I've lived in Newburgh since 1973, and I previously served on this board from 04 to 07. I'm speaking tonight on agenda item 10.2, the resolution to approve the memorandum of agreement with the Newburgh Teachers Association covering July 1st, 25 through June 30th, 27. I want to be clear at the outset. I support ratification of this agreement tonight. But I want to be equally clear about something else. Respect is a contract, and it took 266 days to get here. 266 days. Think about that, teachers. That's how long Newburgh's teachers went without a ratified contract. So if this board ratifies this agreement tonight, that is welcome. But let's not pretend it's timely. It's late. And lateness matters. Because while teachers were waiting, the board still found room for other priorities. It found room for the director of finance. It found room for the director of communications. It found room for outside legal fees. It found room to reinstate the superintendent and pay her legal fees. It found room for a nearly $13,000 bonus for the deputy superintendent for duties she was already contractually expected to perform. So let nobody say this board couldn't act. It acted when it wanted to. It moved when it chose to. It funded what it valued. That's why I keep saying respect is a contract. Because contracts are not just paperwork. Contracts tell employees whether they are respected. They tell families whether teachers are valued. They tell the public what comes first. And for 266 days, the message to teachers was wait. Now, to be fair, this agreement does include real benefits. It provides raises for over 2 years. It improves working conditions in practical ways. And it gives teachers and nurses stability they should have had months ago. That's good. That should happen. It should have happened much sooner. So tonight's message is simple. Ratify this contract. Teachers deserve that. But don't ask the public to celebrate the delay. Don't ask the public to forget that while teachers were waiting, others were being accommodated. And do not ask the public to ignore what that says about the board's priorities, because the public sees it. Teachers see it. Families see it. And voters should remember who set those priorities. Mr. Howard, Ms. Politi, and Mr. Bergarelli, and the voting bloc that they are part of. They kept finding room for everyone else while teachers waited 266 days for basic contractual respect. So yes, pass this agenda item tonight. That's the right thing to do. But let the record also reflect this. Respect is a contract, and it took this board 266 days to prove it. Thank you.
Ms. Stacy Moran.
Good evening. My name is Stacy Moran, and I am the president of the Newburgh Teachers Association. I am here tonight to share the NTA's concerns regarding the Newburgh Enlarged City School District's 26-27 proposed budget, and to remind the board that the backbone of this district is the faculty and staff who work closest to our students. Reducing these positions is not just a staffing decision. It is a decision that directly impacts the children we serve. In 23-24, the district eliminated 16 NTA positions. In 24-25, 82 positions were cut, when we had an $84.4 million surplus, according to the recent report by New York State Comptroller Thomas DiNapoli. Last year, 5 more positions were eliminated, so in total, over the last 3 years, our district has abolished more than 100 teacher and teaching assistant jobs, while administrative roles have continued to grow. In this year's proposed budget, 28.6 NTA positions are set to be eliminated, including 20 teaching assistant vacancies. At a recent meeting, it was stated that these teaching assistant positions are not needed. I strongly disagree. 16 of these positions are in first grade classrooms. While not mandated, they are absolutely essential. These roles were intentionally created nearly a decade ago to support early literacy, an initiative this district has long identified as a priority. Teaching assistants provide direct instructional support, help differentiate learning, and play a critical role in student development at one of the most important stages of education. If there is any question about their impact, I urge you to reflect on the presentation from February 10th, 2026, regarding the district's accountability status. We were told that all elementary schools will be in good standing by September 1st due to sustained growth over time. The students who demonstrated that growth, who helped move 4 additional schools into good standing, most likely had teaching assistants in their first grade classrooms. Although they were not included in the presentation, the teaching assistants' work with our first graders through the years has had a big impact. Another argument presented for eliminating these positions is that they cannot be filled. While it is true that we ended last year with approximately 50 teacher and teaching assistant vacancies, and the many positions remain unfilled despite ongoing postings, but the inability to fill a position does not mean it is not needed. It means we must become a district where educators want to work and want to stay. That begins with listening to stakeholders. When I asked our members what should be prioritized in this budget, they were clear. We need more people who work directly with the students, such as teachers, nurses, speech teachers, occupational and physical therapists, and teaching assistants. We need more safety monitors to ensure safe learning and working environments. And we need adequate instructional materials, especially in science and social studies, and for hands-on learning at the elementary level. When a district becomes top-heavy and begins to view collaboration as conflict, the voices of those closest to students are diminished. That does not serve our students. It does not support retention, and it only will worsen our staffing shortages. We should not be eliminating positions that directly impact student achievement. We should be working urgently to fill them, all of them, even those that are difficult to fill. Every student deserves access to high-quality education, supported by the faculty and resources necessary for success. I urge the board to adopt a budget that reflects those priorities. Thank you.
Ms. Tracy Wallace.
Sorry for the interruption, but there's a black Cadillac outside that was hit by someone. They want that person to come out. Their car was hit. A black and it's out on the street, across the street. So does that belong to anybody in here? No one in here belongs to. Okay, thank you, sorry.
Thanks. Hi, Tracy Wallace, City of Newburgh.
Hold on one second.
Sure.
I am absolutely going to respond to the NTA president's last statement. I will see if I have enough time for this meeting, but I will definitely have a response. Thank you.
Go ahead, Tracy.
Okay. Tracy Wallace, speaking as a parent, as a community member, not as a representative of my employer or any other committee that I'm in. Going to talk about the budget. I'm going to agree that we do need teacher assistants in the classroom and the importance of having on-the-ground hands-on experience with our students are very important, especially coming from special education and ensuring that, we are, and I'm sure you're going to address the fully staffed teacher assistant, so I'm going to agree there, but I'm going to agree with a lot of the points that Ms. Moran said, including having the essential staffing for our students. Another topic I wanted to talk about is 13.1, which is our CSC, CSP meetings. I have asked for this before for the board, but it's really important that parents, when they're in their IEP meetings, have advocates. And I've requested that the district please help parents find advocates that can help them in their IEP meetings and and whatever assistance that they need, because they're not understanding the test results, like if they have psychological evaluations, if they have other evaluations and they're getting annual reviews, they're not understanding what they are, they're not being explained in regular layman's terms to them to say, okay, these results mean that you possibly have a diagnosis of this and you maybe need these resources. These are not explained to them. It's just saying this is the test, but for parents, it's really hard to understand what do those scores mean? What does these tests, what do they mean? And having an advocate doesn't mean having an advocate to be against the district, having an advocate to help the parent bridge that understanding, to understand all of the resources that they can have for their child. So I'm asking the district, again, to create a policy or to create something where parents can have advocates in their IEP meetings if they can't find anyone that's free of charge, if they can if they can pay for that parent to have an advocate, and then explaining to the parent what an advocate is as well, not just as request from the parent, but explaining to the parents what an advocate is so that they understand their rights and the resources their child, can have. And this also helps with placement, because if the parent doesn't understand all of the options of where their child is placed, they could be placed in an ICT, which is and for those that don't know what an ICT room, it's an integrated co-teaching classroom where you have a mixed students of children with disabilities and children without disabilities. There's 12 one-to-one, which is 12 kids in a room and one general education teacher and one special education teacher. There are 8 one-to-ones, and they go on. And parents don't understand all of the options that they have for their child. And they also don't understand, if they have learning disabilities, if these tests, again, have diagnosis and solutions, it could help that student, especially on the early ages of the child, because when they reach middle school, then it becomes behavioral, because then now the child doesn't have those resources, and now they're seen as behavioral. And are they getting the behavioral intervention services as equal as the academic intervention services? They're actually not. There's more academic intervention services going on in our district than there are behavioral intervention services. And if we had the equal behavioral intervention services and behavioral plans for students, then we would be able to give students the resources that they need. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wallace.
Mr. Dennis Grant.
Dennis Grant, live in Newburgh. I just want to mention what this gentleman said about the teachers union, their contract not being resolved. Today is 266 days. Is that correct? And respect this contract. I agree with that. But I'm a law enforcement officer, and our last contract, we waited 3 years. So that's the kind of respect they have for us. So, and that's about 100 days. So I understand about that, I do. And at the same time, one thing I do understand, these are the pushes and plays and the levers that they move when the union president as well as the superintendent go back and forth. So, because that's what my union was doing for 3 years. So I understand it. I understand it.
Excuse me, comments from the podium are to the chair, not to other people.
No problem. But speaking of math, as a parent and stakeholder, we want one simple thing. We want our children to be able to apply and learn in schools. Well, we want to apply what they learn in schools to the real world. But today, I'm not just addressing students, I'm addressing the school board. Because there are life lessons, basic ones, that must be applied in how we govern, lead, and serve this district. And one of these lessons is math, the universal language. Specifically, the order of operation, and that is PEMDAS. We all know PEMDAS, right? But I'm going to give it a little twist. Parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. If you don't follow the order, you don't get the right answer. And right now, in the Newburgh and Large City School District, the equation is not adding up at times. P, parentheses, represents what's closest to the problem. That should be our students and our families. But too often, the voices closest to the classroom feel the furthest from decision-making. We hear concerns like uneven enforcement, such as Resolution 9.5 that stated, the petitioner stated uneven enforcement, an appeal that appears to be dismissed as untimely. That's not just policy, that's perception of fairness. And when fairness is inconsistent, trust erodes. And what's inside the parentheses isn't handled right, everything else is off. E, exponents represent growth. In a school district, growth should mean excellence. Which brings me to this, teachers receiving the National Board certification in our school district is considered the gold standard of teaching, and that's a good thing. So the question becomes, are we investing in that level of excellence? Are we encouraging it? Are we building a culture where high standards multiply and we witness it more with our scholars every day? Because if we're not growing excellence and share in this district's development of communities, then we are allowing mediocrity to grow instead, hence the noise. And that's an exponential problem. M and D, multiplication and division. Multiplication is collaboration. At times, this school district division separates our communities. And right now, we see signs of division again, and the silly season around the corner is almost among us. We see decisions being made, but are they fully aligned with the people they impact? We see items like Resolution 9.4, May 19, 2026, voting locations, Board of Education, candidate information package becoming available. These are opportunities to engage the community, to multiply participation, to strengthen trust and governance, not a season of foolery. But if not handled with engagement and connectivity, they can instead divide. And division weakens our district, yes? We don't need more division, we need multiplication of voices, of involvement, of good intentions. And I will finish my A and S at the other time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Grant.
Hold on.
Okay.
Thanks. I just wanted to kind of get just a little bit of clarity in terms of what was presented. While I may not have all my notes, I plan on having all my notes so I can make sure that I inform the community of the entire picture. But what I'd like to begin with is this. The district offered a historic incentive teachers received a 50% compensation for their retirement. Why? We did an audit of positions, we worked with the principals. Our enrollments have also declined. We do an analysis of all of our positions to ensure that we are meeting the needs of our students. Throughout this process, you have seen that we've discussed class sizes. We are rather low in many of our buildings because we have had a reduction in enrollment. It is not fiscally prudent to expect that we are going to run the same number of teachers in a building because we don't have the same number of students. The 16 positions, the teaching assistants that were mentioned before, that was 2 years ago. These positions were mentioned 2 years ago when I was not here. Last year, somehow or another, the positions remained in the budget. We still have not been able to attract anyone for those positions. So to merely say that we're reducing positions because we want to, we cannot find teaching assistants. And 2 years ago when we made the decision, when we explained the teaching assistant position in terms of we did not, when we did our observation and speaking with the administrators in the buildings, that they were not used to do literacy. The movement, the function of this district, what we've stood on moving forward is to make sure that we have literacy at the forefront. That's not the role of our current structure. One other thing. When we lose or when teachers resign, it's not a flip and a switch. So I want us to be honest when we tell the story. We offered an incentive for 62 teachers. They took it. 50% of the compensation was given. Community members, please be sure that I am going to pull out another full story because I need to make sure that we all have an understanding.
Thank you, Dr. Manning.
Next,
Go ahead, Ms. Puede.
Thank you. I would like to speak on that as well. This board and this team sitting up here has been listening to misinformation being put out for a long time, and now it's time to speak up and correct it. The narrative that this district has cut its way to progress is simply not accurate. Staffing shifts have largely been about moving educators, as Dr. Manning Campbell said, where students need them the most, not removing them. And administrative positions have in fact declined in the past few years. And a simple ChatGPT search while I'm sitting here listening to the misinformation being put out, there is no single number that clearly states X teachers were accessed and replaced in different tenure areas. However, here's what is documented about the Newburgh and Large City School District. The district has shifted staffing rather than broadly laying off teachers. Teacher staffing went from 1,050 to 956 back up to 1,034 positions in recent years. Since before the pandemic, there has been a net increase of 22 positions overall. Recent budgets show minimal layoffs, 2 to 3 teachers in a year, often due to enrollment or program changes, not systemic cuts. The district has explicitly stated positions are continually reallocated based on enrollment and need. This is where accessing and reassignment happens in practice. Most of the movement has been reassignment, accessing into needed areas, not mass layoffs. The numbers support a fluid staffing model, not elimination and replacement at scale. Administrative positions then versus now, this is actually clearer. The district has reduced administrative positions by 5 compared to pre-pandemic levels. From federal staffing data for context, not year-to-year change. Approximately 14 district administrators and 42 school administrators. Administration has not grown unchecked. It has actually declined since pre-COVID levels. And I'll close with this. Public statements carry responsibility. When inaccurate or misleading information is presented, especially by those in positions of influence, it doesn't elevate the conversation, it distorts it, and it unfairly places our teachers and our students in the middle. Their work is real, their progress is real. We appreciate them, we honor them, and this deserves to be represented honestly. We owe this community facts, not narratives. Thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Puede.
Ms. Dawn Fuchek.
Dawn Fuchek. I reside in the town of Newburgh. Just for a point of clarification on agenda item 10.2, negotiations on the contract actually started in the 2024-2025 school year, and that was under a different board and different administration at the time. And those groups under that negotiation led to an impasse with the Teachers Association. And so I just wanted to be clear, at that point, a mediator was brought in, and then, again, there were other shifts and that moved on. But I want to be clear that it was not this board sitting here that started those negotiations, and it was not this board sitting here that, or this leadership sitting here that had the negotiations end up in impasse. I would like to take a moment to recognize and commend the negotiating teams for the district and the Newburgh Teachers Association for coming to an agreement on the new teacher's contract. Reaching an agreement is never an easy process, and it requires time, patience, and a willingness from all sides to listen and work together. It's important that we continue to come to fair and respectable agreements for our employees so that they feel valued, supported, and appreciated for the work that they do every day for our students. When our staff feels respected, it strengthens our schools and ultimately benefits the entire community. I would like to thank everyone involved for approaching the process collaboratively and for keeping the best interest of the district, the faculty, the staff, and our students in mind. Your willingness to work together and find common ground is appreciated, and it sets a positive example for our entire school community. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fuchek.
Ms. Carla Johnson. This is on agenda items, Ms. Johnson.
On agenda items, so I don't really follow the budget. I know that y'all got this program going on at London School for reading and math for extra. When y'all know that the kids in the district, low income, like myself, some of them kids don't got cars to go to the program for their parents to pick them up at 5:30. So I think that next time when y'all decide to get programs, try to get in the budget some money for transportation, because that Century 21 program, it got transportation, but the new program don't have transportation. So if I have a car, London wouldn't be able to utilize the program, and then y'all would say, well, we gave you the program, but how can she utilize it? So next time y'all think about getting extra work programs, reading and math, think about transportation.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson.
Saritia Boyd? I'm sorry, thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I haven't been in a meeting for a very long time. But I'm coming to the meeting tonight based on someone that concerns me. No names, but when I finish, I guess you all will know exactly who I'm talking about. I was an advocate for my child, myself, many, many years ago. I am not a parent in the school system, but I am a stakeholder. I pay a lot of school taxes just like anyone else here who is a stakeholder. And it disheartens my heart when I see a child who does not want to go to school because of what is happening at school. When you have teachers who are supposed to be role models, and I agree with everybody in the audience has said what they said, I agree with them absolutely 100%. But I am not in agreement when we have teachers who are supposed to be role models. When you look back, when you get older, you can say, oh, my third grade teacher was my favorite teacher, or my fifth grade teacher. My fifth grade teacher is still alive. And when I see her, when I go to the city, she knows That is my favorite teacher. I would never forget Mrs. Applewhite. But here is a different story. We have kids who don't want to go to school because we have teachers. What happened to the bullying law? What happened to the bullying phase? You're a teacher, you should not be bullying children who don't want to come to school because you're laughing, you're making gestures at what they say as an answer or a response. We are supposed to be teaching the children for the future. Instead, we are making fun of them because of their size or their shape or their color or their skin. They shouldn't be teachers. My sister was a teacher, and she was a good teacher. You're supposed to have a heart to want to teach. You're leading the future. Don't do it just for a job or a paycheck. I revisited this place a couple of years ago, and it was for another bullying tactic. And we know what that incident was for because the Parent Alliance was out here for that. If we're gonna sit here and have a board, then we need to have a board based with some parents on it too. Let's make it even 50-50. Because parents go home from work or school or wherever they're from, and when their child comes home and gives them a synopsis of what their day was, it's alarming. And when a parent tries to have a meeting with the school board, they're being brushed off for days, for weeks. Letters don't come on time. And by the time the letter comes, it's already outdated for the meeting. What's going on with the system? Now, if I'm paying my school taxes and I don't have a kid who never went to this school system, and you wonder why the admission is low, people are taking their kids and they're going other places, other districts, other municipalities to get an address so they don't come here. Think about if all the kids' parents start doing that, nobody's gonna have a job here in Newburgh. So if no changes are made, that is gonna happen. That's why a lot of kids are not in the school no more. You gotta ask that question. Where did they go? They didn't move. They still here. But the kids don't wanna be here. The parents don't want their kids here. Everybody's sitting thinking that nothing can change. Things can change, but it starts with you guys.
Thank you.
Kevin Vasquez.
Hi, my name is Kevin Vasquez. I am the father of a terminally ill child who has been diagnosed with myasthenia gravis, which keeps him from entering the school setting. He has been approved for home instruction since at least November and has gotten maybe 5 total days of instruction yet this entire school year. I informally requested an emergency IEP meeting in December. So that is when I spoke with most of the people that are here. They assured me that I would get an instructor. That instructor lasted those 5 days and then left her position. She ensured me that there would be a replacement. I've been emailing all these administrators. Everybody says I'll get a replacement. Somebody's coming. Nobody ever shows up. My son is being neglected from his education. My son has 93 absences on his report card right now. He is not absent by choice. This is not a communication issue. I have emails back from all of these administrators. This is neglect. I need immediate action for a qualified instructor, consistent and documented schedule of compensatory services for the missed months. And I need this action immediately this week before break, or I'll be filing a complaint with the New York School Education Department. And this has been happening for years. So obviously, the Teachers Association knows what they're talking about. They need teachers, they need aides. I've been here asking for a teacher. Where are the teachers? There's no teacher here coming to teach my kids. Clearly, you guys need to hire more teachers. You need to hire aides, and you need to hire a home instructor that is able to give this to disabled children and to children who are on home instruction. You have a whole process of getting approved for home instruction. Who is the home instructor? There is none. You're asking teachers to go after school to our house at 4 or 5 o'clock at night when we're trying to eat dinner to give my son an hour of instruction. That's crazy. You need somebody allocated for these services. The aid that I was requesting back in 2022 took 6 months to show up, a one-to-one aid that was on my son's IEP. In that 6 months, he was written up 11 times and then removed from the school setting because you guys did not follow his IEP and you didn't have an instructor to instruct him. So clearly, everybody here is telling the truth, and we need more teachers and we need more aides, and they need to be paid appropriately for the job they do.
Thank you.
Moving on to non-agenda items. First person signed up is Mr. David Ryan.
All right, Carla, I'll be nice, I promise. He's already moved on.
The answer is yes, but I need to get a motion to extend. We're at 30 minutes. Can I get a motion to extend? 5 minutes.
So moved.
One speaker.
Second.
Thank you.
Roll call to extend agenda comments by 5 minutes. Ms. Thomasina Bello?
Yes.
Ms. Boucher?
Yes.
Mr. Bergarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Burks?
Yes.
Mr. DeRay?
Yes.
Mr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Levinstein?
Yes.
Ms. Politi?
Yes.
Ms. Christine Bello?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Ryan, we're still on agenda items. You'll be first on non-agenda.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, I'll appreciate that. Sarah Maida, Town of Newburgh. So I actually am not going to take very long, but I do think that it's sometimes helpful when we're dealing with contentious issues to kind of sum up and find the points of agreement. So here, I really am hearing from everybody that there is agreement that we need more TAs, certainly, probably more teachers. I think this is a community issue, right? I think that all of the stakeholders really have a role to play in this. And so what I have heard a bit, I'd like to hear more from the board members, is how the district is taking efforts to recruit. I'm hearing from the NTA that that's a priority for them as well. I would love to hear from them if they have ideas about how to better recruit. I understand that, big picture, fixing conditions stuff, but I'm talking about concrete things to bring people into the district now. Right now, at this point, there's a bunch of unfilled positions. Seems to me, I am not an economist, but it makes sense to put those towards something the district needs at this point and make a concerted effort to attract qualified candidates. But I really don't think that we can put this entirely on the district. I think those community members, I think we all have a role to play. And I think the contentiousness and the chaos that has happened with this board over the course of several years, honestly, is absolutely part of the problem. And I hope that we as a community acknowledge that going into election season. And I hope that, we act like the adults, hopefully we all are, because any good candidate this district is gonna attract is gonna watch a board meeting before they show up. They're gonna Google this district. And when they see hateful letters to the editor by people sitting on the board, when they hear from the NTA about legitimate concerns without also hearing about why the NTA is a group that people want to come work for, that unfortunately is not painting the picture anybody wants. So I really think all of us here believe in our community. We believe in this school district. I think we need to make a concerted effort and recognize the role we all have to play in attracting qualified candidates. So thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Maida. Yep, non-agenda.
Non-agenda public comment, Mr. David Ryan.
Good evening. My name is David Ryan. I've lived in Newburgh since 1973, and I previously served on this board from 2004 to 2007. I did not come back into district affairs as a political activist. I came back as a father. In 2023, my family raised concerns about fairness and transparency in athletics affecting my daughter. We brought those concerns to the coach, the athletic director, the superintendent, and this board. My daughter and I both spoke publicly at these board meetings. We got no meaningful response at any level. That experience showed me something bigger. In this district, families can raise legitimate concerns, speak publicly, and still be ignored. Worse, the message became clear. Speak up, and there'll be a price to pay. Since then, I've watched the district lurch from controversy to controversy. Election-related concerns with a superintendent who was suspended, campaigning for 3 people that eventually won and then reinstated her, uneven treatment at the podium, conflicts in the attorney and their son-in-law, legal and PR spending, retroactive compensation for the deputy superintendent, and repeated decisions that seem to put insiders first while expecting the public to simply absorb it or just move on. And all of that happened while the teachers were left waiting. As of today, teachers have gone 266 days without a ratified contract. Yet somehow there was still room for contracts for the director of communications, the director of finance, outside legal fees, the superintendent's reinstatement and her legal fees, and the nearly $13,000 bonus for the deputy superintendent, for duties already covered by the contract pursuant to which she was appointed. That's not just a money issue. That's a priorities issue. And when you place those priorities next to the state comptroller's findings, people have every right to ask how this board found room for all of that, but not for the teachers. Because the comptroller's audit was devastating. It found that the NECSD did not adopt realistic budgets. It did not effectively manage fund balances. It found $67 million in unbudgeted year-end transfers. It found $87 million in variances between budgets presented to the taxpayers and the actual operating costs. It found that the district was not transparent with taxpayers as it could be. It also found $24.3 million in 5 reserve funds that were either unused or likely held more than the district reasonably needed. And it found that the district lacked both a written multi-year plan and a comprehensive capital plan. Those are not minor bookkeeping issues, Ms. Director of Finance. Those are governance failures. Those are stewardship failures. Those are public trust failures. And the public should remember who has been setting those priorities. According to public reporting, on September 3rd, 2025, Mr. DeRay, Mr. Howard, Ms. Point of Order Politi, Mr. Bergarelli, and Ms. Burks voted to reinstate the superintendent, rescind the charges against her, and approve paying her legal fees of more than $10,000. So when this board wants to lecture the public about patience, process, or fiscal discipline, people have every right to ask, patience for whom? Patience from whom? And discipline for whom? Because for teachers, the answer was wait. For taxpayers, the answer seemed to be trust us. And for the insiders, the answer all too often is approved. Then there's the board's public conduct. On January 28th, I raised concerns about electioneering, records integrity, retroactive compensation, legal and PR spending, and conflicts. I closed with a brief Torah reference. Lo ta'amad al dam al archa. Do not stand idly by when harm is done. Instead of engaging on the substance, Trustee Politi chose to focus on that reference. That told the public a great deal about who and what the board would rather challenge and what it would rather ignore. So let's stop pretending the public's frustration is irrational. Let's stop pretending the concern is hostility. Let's stop pretending the scrutiny is the problem. The problem is a governing culture that has had too much time, too little accountability, and too much comfort with asking the public to accept what it would not tolerate from anyone else. Mr. Howard has been on the board since 2012. Ms. Politi has shown the public what she chooses to confront and what she chooses not to. Mr. Bergarelli has been part of the same governing culture for that record. So yes, people should remember names because public trust does not erode on its own. It's worn down by decisions, by votes, by conduct, by priorities. Newburgh deserves better.
Please shut the mic.
The next person signed up to speak is Miss Tracy Wallace.
It's not sorry. Respect the law.
It's called accountability. If you vote,
Miss Wallace, you're the next person to speak. Miss Wallace, thank you.
these people are
Thank
accountable
you.
for their behavior. They are accountable for their votes.
Why you not grabbing somebody's arm and putting him?
All right.
No, because he do that to me on the ground.
Excuse me, excuse me.
No, I'm not, I don't care. When I do it, I was arrested. When I did it, I was
Charges were
tried.
pressed.
When I did it, it's always a problem.
He calls out Nancy, breaks the meetings off, he gets rid of it. She gets it sorted out.
I'm not going.
That's unfair.
That's the problem. Y'all always trying to keep me shut up. Y'all always want me to.
It's unfair. She said, when I called out
Ms. Johnson, please, Ms. Johnson, please. Please. Ms. Johnson.
all respect, that's all we're asking for. Again, open meetings are respect, that's all. I'm literally sticking to the rules, that's it. I actually advocate for it.
Could we have quiet in the room so Tracy Wallace could speak?
Okay. Excuse me? I'm sorry, I'm not arguing here. Someone's yelling at me.
Ms. Wallace, good evening.
Thank you. Okay. Let's calm down, take a breather. I'm here, actually was going to speak about coming together as a community. And coming together as a community for actually our Special Education Parent-Teacher Association. And this I do talk to every single person, regardless of where they stand on the board. I have reached out to multiple community members. Unfortunately, there were some that had come to our meeting that said that we didn't reach out to them. And I am trying to reach out to as many community members as I can. For those that didn't get the information about being a part of the SEPSA, I do want to work with the district to ensure that every single parent and every single teacher and student with a disability and even that want to be a part of the SEPSA gets the information. The other thing I wanted to speak about is, again, the importance of, students are not, it's not about mathematical enrollment, like mathematical. There is a serious need in the special education department on so many levels. So many students I have advocated for not being placed, IEP meetings, being pushed back because we don't have enough chairpersons on our staff in order to get these IEP meetings rolling, and that's really what it is. We can't have supervisors who's supposed to be going out to homes, teaching, and supposed to be doing home visits, conducting IEP meetings, when they're supposed to be chairpersons. So they're a chairperson, they're supposed to be conducting IEP meetings, but instead of going to your home to teach, they're conducting IEP meetings because we're not staffed as far as chair people. So there is a real need for staffing in the exceptional learners department. And so I am not sitting here talking about, again, one against the other. You have to look at the district for the needs. You can't sit here and say there's a mathematical, enrollment. You have to look at the needs of the students. The needs are of the chair people that need to be in place for the IEP meetings. These IEP meetings are the ones that are being chaired by people who should be teaching in homes, who should be home visiting, who should be where they're supposed to be. So again, I'm asking for the district to reassess and look at the special education department, look at the needs of not only the teacher's assistants, but again, look at Who is supposed to be going into homes? Who is why are they placed there? Look at your placement. Look at your, it's not just teachers' assistants. There are many staffing errors going on that need to be assessed. And so, and again, as part of being a SEPSA is part of being an advocate as well. And that SEPSA comes from teachers, the teachers and what their needs are in their exceptional learners. And in the SEPSA, being a teacher in the SEPSA, we also inform each other about the needs of our teachers as well that are teaching our students, because those teachers have needs as well in the classroom and support in the classroom, as well as the parents and the students. And we can get that support with other SEPSAs who want to support us in the Hudson Valley, and including we're going to be getting some state support as well as national support with our SEPSA. So it's really important for everyone to join, even people that are parents that are homeschooled, to join the SEPSA. You will be working with the teachers. It's for the teachers, students, and the parents to get together. It's not just myself. There are other people on there. There are other people that are joining. There are other people that you can vote to be in election in that place. I am not the only one. It is not me. It is the entire district. There are other people involved. There are other people that I talk to, also to give them the invitation. If you have not gotten the invitation to become part of a SEPSA, we're going to be putting it on social media and working with the district. Thank you.
Mr. Dennis Grant.
Dennis Grant, class still in session. PennDOS, we're going to finish with A and S. PennDOS, we're going to finish with A and S. Addition and subtraction. This is where it all becomes real, ladies and gentlemen. What are we adding and what are we taking away? We see actions like a year or so ago, our football team and its alleged hazing scandal, but at what cost to those students? And the questions become, is this addition, or did some students get more subtraction than others? Because too often, what people feel is happening, case in point, subtraction with no equal or greater addition. Some people here feel, and who are watching, we remove but don't replace. We change but don't strengthen. We shift but don't improve outcomes. Or is it the division we share among our family and friends? God bless you. Despite our differences with the school board and individuals therein, we need to lead with saying we want the best for our district. We just disagree on certain matters. If we can't lead in that actionable mindset, then what happens? Students lose. This is not about criticism for sake of criticism. This is about getting the answer right. PennDOS. Because education is not just theory. It is real life. And if we want our children to succeed in the real world, then leadership must model real world principles, not bickering utterances. Follow the order, PennDOS, put students inside the parentheses, and teachers help with the equation, grow excellence, don't let problems grow unchecked, multiply collaboration, reduce division. What do we as members on the board agree on? Starting there. What do we agree on? And then you can start there. You know this already. And ensure that every subtraction is matched, not equal or greater addition. Well, with equal or greater addition. And parents, our school board needs your participation helping with the equation at home. Because if you don't follow the order of operation, PennDOS, you don't just get the wrong answer. You fail the very students we are here to serve. Let's fix the equation. We have a lot of the things in motion, but let's just get the right equation. Thank you.
Mr. Ryan Orsino.
Hi. Good evening, all. It's my pleasure to be here tonight. My name is Ryan Orsino, and I'm a senior at NFA Maine. I'm a varsity lacrosse captain, student board member, and the executive president of our student council. I'm coming here tonight with an issue, as well as a proposition on what we can do better. Throughout all my time in this district, one issue has plagued us for too long. That issue is communication. The entirety of the district has struggled with sharing information to all audiences for the longest time. Oftentimes, when you look online, events are shared after they take place. While the recognition of the events is fantastic, it doesn't give the individuals in our district an opportunity to attend those events. Now, I'd like to ask all of you watching, whether you're listening in person, online, or watching this after the meeting has taken place, to look around for your cell phone. The majority of us are watching on our cell phones, have our cell phones in our pocket, or have our cell phones in the room with us. There's no denying that cell phones are instrumental to living in day-to-day life and that we keep them with us everywhere we go. With communication being an issue and our cell phones able to receive messages and notifications in the snap of a finger, you see where I'm going with this. I'd like to propose an NECSD app, a mobile app available for iOS and Android that can give you all the information you desire at the click of a button. An NECSD app would allow parents, students, and community members from all around the district to be immediately notified of events. Imagine receiving a notification the moment a game is rescheduled, a concert is announced, or a meeting time is changed weeks before. No more scouring through websites, just a simple notification from a source 99.9% of individuals in the district have access to. For now, this is all speculative, but I'd be more than willing to work with anyone to make this happen. While the implementation of this app is a discussion for another day, I thank you for allowing me to share this idea with you all. I hope this idea is taken into serious consideration, as I wholeheartedly believe this would benefit thousands of individuals in the district and increase participation in events tenfold. Our students are so incredibly talented, and this platform would not only allow them to share their talents on a larger stage, whether it's a football game, concert, or play, but also give parents and community members an opportunity to witness the talent firsthand. I'd also like to ask everyone else watching to not be afraid to speak their mind. It's difficult to stand here and talk to the hundreds, if not thousands of people watching. But change doesn't come with silence, it comes with courage. Don't be afraid to mention an idea, no matter how far-fetched it may seem. Thank you for your time, and I hope everyone has a great night. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Orsino. Ms. Dawn Fuchek.
I'd like to take a moment to express my sincere appreciation to the Board of Education, the district leadership, and the district leadership for establishing the Strategic Planning Committee. This was an important and meaningful step for our district. I want to recognize the tremendous amount of time, effort, and thoughtful collaboration that went into developing this plan. It is clear that it was not a rushed process, but one that reflected careful consideration and a genuine commitment to the future of our schools. Most importantly, I am grateful that the committee was intentionally inclusive, bringing together a diverse group of stakeholders and ensuring that all voices had the opportunity to be heard. That committee had more than 80 people sitting on it. Providing space for students, families, faculty, staff, and community members to share their perspective strengthens the plan and helps ensure it truly represents the needs and priorities of the entire district. I look forward to the district continuing to provide opportunities like this for all employees, students, families, and community members, as collaboration like this helps to build trust among all stakeholders. It also creates a safe and welcoming space where individuals can share their thoughts and opinions openly. Thank you again to everyone who contributed to this important work, and I look forward to seeing how this plan is implemented and how it positively impacts our students and our community moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fuchek.
Ms. Angela Paul Gato.
Good evening.
Oops, sorry. My name is Angela Polghetto, and I'm a resident of this district. I'll be brief and direct for this first point. Having multiple members of the same family serving on this Board of Education at the same time is a conflict of interest, or at the very least, a serious appearance of one. And let's be clear, just because something is legal does not make it right. When family members sit on the same board and vote on the same issues, the public cannot have full confidence as those decisions are independent. That erodes trust, plain and simple. School boards are meant to represent the community, not to concentrate influence within a single family. This isn't personal, it's about doing what's right for the integrity of the district. So here's the ask. Create and adopt a policy that prevents immediate family members from serving on the board at the same time. No gray area, no exception. Because our community deserves leadership that not only follow the law, but also meets a higher ethical standard. Do the right things, fix the policy, and put the focus back where it belongs, on the students. On a totally different note, tonight, I would like to take a moment to express my sincere appreciation for Ms. Clifford and the incredible work she does with the Performing Arts program at NFA. If you have never had the opportunity to attend one of the 2 musicals offered each year, I strongly encourage you to make it a priority next year. This year's production of Chicago and Matilda showcased an extraordinary level of talent among our high school students. What the audience sees on stage is only a fraction of the dedication and effort happening behind the scene. These students are not only performing, they are developing essential life skills. They memorize extensive dialogue, adopt accent, and you know I'm impressed with that, such as the full British accents used throughout Matilda. And they commit themselves to singing, dancing, and acting to a high level. They also learn resilience and adaptability, managing last-minute challenges such as illness, cast changes, technical difficulties, and sound or sound issues. Despite striving for perfection, they learn to problem solve, adjust, and continue moving forward with professionalism and strength. The performing arts teach discipline, confidence, teamwork, and mental toughness, skills that extend far beyond the stage. Yet, these efforts are often under-recognized. Ms. Clifford deserves special recognition for bringing together students from different backgrounds, different high school, and even different grades, and shaping them in a cohesive, talented team. The students continue to give their best with their performance for a full house or a smaller audience, all while balancing their academic responsibilities. I also want to highlight the importance of increasing awareness and support for these programs. Greater visibility, stronger advertising, and continued investment, particularly in technical resources like sound system, will help ensure this production receive the attention and quality support they deserve. Our students are doing remarkable work. Let's continue to show up for them, not just with applause, but with our support, our presence, and our investment. Because what they are creating is something our entire community can be proud of. The stage may be where their performance happens, but the lessons they're learning will carry them for a lifetime. Let's make sure we give them the support they need so their future stays open to endless opportunities. Thank you.
Mr. Kevin Vasquez.
So, you've all heard pretty much all I had to say. I was just wondering if any of the administrators that I've emailed the countless times have anything else to respond. No? None of the administrators have any input?
This is not the forum. The forum is to the chair.
To the chair directly, so they're not allowed to speak on this issue?
There's nothing without me reviewing what you've done. Most of those
You want
go
all the
directly.
emails?
I'm sorry?
I have all the emails to the administrators right here.
It's not a back and forth, sir. You're commenting on non-agenda items.
All right, well, clearly we need more teachers, we need more aides, and we need to stop neglecting children.
The next person signed up to speak is Ms. Carla Johnson.
So, Carla Johnson, so first I want to start with, when y'all suspended Dr. Barn, Lisa Barn, right? She had hired all these people and y'all fired all these people. Why is he still here? Because he is racist. He's Donald Trump supporter. He doesn't like people. No, because when this man said my daughter's name.
We're not
Okay, I'm
talking
sorry,
about
let's start
anybody in the
all over.
audience.
When people
Comments come
say
here.
my child's name, no one said anything about it. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Last board meeting was at South High, where I want my daughter to go to. I was arrested there. I want to know why was the police called on me when I even get on the microphone. So maybe because the head of, the person that's supposed to protect y'all, can't say his name. So he got a bad habit of going like this to me. Stop touching me. So I told him once, stop touching me. I told him twice, stop touching me. I told him 3 times, stop touching me. So at South High, he touched me again. And I told him I'm gonna need the police the next time he touched me, because I'm tired of him touching me. I was embarrassed, I was humiliated, and even though I had a warrant, that was something personal on my own part. But I wanna know, prison the pipeline. If my daughter is having a problem with her teacher in school and she decides to verbally abuse her or do whatever to her, y'all gonna call police on her? Because it's prison the pipeline. I want to know why I advocate for my daughter. I know people. Yeah, I get people out to vote. Yeah, I do a lot of stuff in the community. But y'all don't never hear me or call anybody and bring them here with me, because I'm the biggest supporter for my daughter. Now, when I'm in here cursing and screaming, y'all send me all these stupid letters in the mail and tell me I can't say this and I can't say that. But I witness people that don't even look like me or reflect people in the district that look like me come up here and slur people's names and make false allegations against people. Now, one time, have I ever seen him removed before I even got up on the microphone? I've been telling y'all I was quiet September, October, November. I came up here December 9th and said people move like y'all know what. Life been crazy since. My daughter, now let's not take the eye off the prize. She missed 53 days of school this year. And the only thing y'all could tell me is, we could call CPS on you, but we're not going to call because we know it's an in-house problem. Y'all better fix the in-house problem, because, listen, Shatira Boy is going to be my emergency contact person. If I have one more problem with anybody bullying my daughter, it's going to be a problem. It's not a threat, because when he was saying stuff about people, y'all ain't do nothing about it. So I need y'all to take heed. When people in school singing gospel music and they saying the people that go to the board is the devil, I feel that's a problem. So my daughter's class was told a song, and the song go like this. People who go to the board is the devil, and I'm highly favored. I'm not the devil. I'm highly favored. Tell your staff, stop talking about me. Tell your staff, stop playing with my daughter. Tell your staff, I'm not calling that office no more. I'm not calling you. I ain't calling none of y'all no more. So next problem that my daughter experienced in school with being bullied by an adult, I'm gonna deal with the adult the way I deal with other adults outside that bully my child, because I've been calling it to y'all December, January, February. We're in March, and she had a problem Thursday. And when she went to school today, right? I sent her to school today, because everybody can say, Miss Johnson sent her to school, sent her to school, sent her to school. As soon as we walk in, the principal, this teacher, some school mom, Miss Pena, and some other lady in the office, as soon as my daughter see her, she go, No, I don't want to go in. I don't want to go in. I'm like, what do you mean? You're not even scared of me. Why you scared of her? She said, because you're my mom. I got a problem with that. And I got a problem being arrested. What was the police called on me for? So when are y'all going to fire him? Because he's under Dr.
Ms. Johnson,
Barnes' watch.
comments come up
And
front.
y'all get rid of everybody that was on Dr. Barnes' watch. Y'all got rid of them. So why is he still here? So I want to make the first recommendation. You know, Rob McLemore, my pastor, he will be a
Ms.
great
Johnson,
person
time's up. Please
for
shut
his
the mic
job.
off, please.
There's nobody else signed up to speak on non-agenda items. If you would like to address the board, please come to the podium.
Good evening, everyone. As many of you will know, my name is Danielle Diamond. After the countless voicemails and emails I've been sending and not getting a response from, I'm here on behalf of my terminally ill child who has not received an education since the year 2022, where Dr. Bond did not also follow his IEP, and he has been without services since that year. Okay, I have, like I said, emailed multiple people on the board, 3 of which who are currently here. I have multiple emails dating back, as well as my child's IEP, as well as a letter from the neuromuscular specialist that oversees his care, stating that he needs home instruction, not to be transported to a building to receive services, but to receive home instruction. You're asking somebody that cannot use their body. You're handing them a jump rope and asking them to double jump, and are surprised that they cannot do it. My child, like I said, hasn't been in school since 2022, yet is given a 6th grade education through South Junior High. He has multiple absences because he still does not have a teacher assigned to him. I was promised earlier this week. It is now very late in the evening, and I doubt I'm going to be getting a phone call tonight. I have handled this situation with grace thus far, but getting no calls back, not even an email back, as you can understand, can be very frustrating. I know we're not allowed to call out names here, so I'm trying to be mindful, but those of you that know that your names are listed on these emails, I will be here, and I will not be leaving if you would like to speak with me, because this cannot go unresolved any longer. We are going on break soon, are we not? And nothing has been implemented. Again, if you would like to see the proof and documentation for years of neglect due to everybody's I'm gonna try to keep, I apologize, because I don't want to be here. I want to be home with my terminally ill child. I do not want to be here pleading his case when I should be home spending time with him. If he overcomes this disease, he should be given the fundamentals to get through life. Right now, what is going on is neglect. And you all are aware of it, and nobody can say that they have not spoken to Danielle Diamond in regards to William Diamond, because I'm sure you've heard my name on the voicemails multiple times. I appreciate you all taking the time to hear me out tonight, and I hope that we can come to a resolution before this upcoming break. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President, the 30-minute timer has expired.
I won't need 5 minutes.
We have,
You
let me
asked-
work through it.
Okay.
Okay? One more speaker. Can I get a motion in a second for 5 minutes extension from one speaker?
Second. Roll call, Ms. Boucher, Mr. Bergarelli.
Yes.
Ms. Burks,
Yes.
Mr. DeRay.
Yes.
Mr. Howard,
Yes.
Mr. Levenstein.
Yes.
Ms. Politi,
Yes.
Ms. Christine Bello,
Yes.
Ms. Thomasina Bello.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. We're good. Go ahead.
Thank you. As I stated before about the enrollment, and I stated before, listening to people and not rumors, What I've stated in the past is evident tonight from what I'm hearing from people, other parents in the audience, not listening to street. And for the record, GPT chat is not always accurate because GPT chat had a young man, an older man kill his mother. Okay, so everything that is AI is not always accurate. Now, I will be the emergency contact. As I stated, I was an advocate for my son when they said, teachers, oh, he will never go to college. He's not college material. My son graduated with a 3.75 college. He also was a military veteran, military police officer. It said it can't be done. People need to stop judging our children, whether what color they are, and read the whole entire book and not just judge them by the cover. Read the whole full story of a child. I am going to be an advocate for her. I am her emergency contact. She's been telling me everything that has been transpiring with her child, and this is not acceptable. I will scream educational lawyer in a heartbeat, and you do not want Albany, where the funds start and trickle down to New York City and then make its way back up. I know what I'm talking about. I know the jargon. I know my vocabulary is very extensive. I don't have to scream, yell, and use profanity to get my point across. I have actions. I know the legal terms. I know about IEPs. I know about Nickerson letters. I know if you don't have the service here, and once they get the IEP, if you guys can't provide the service, you have to find the service or give her a letter and let her get her tutoring, her speech, or whatever she needs outside of this building. Everything does not have to start in the school or stop in the school. So when you know a child, and first of all, we have to make sure the people who are evaluating these children have the right credentials to evaluate them, because once they get evaluated, they're supposed to have a cause, a reason, and an effect for a solution. And if you can't provide the solution once you know the cause and the problem, you have to give her a letter, which is a Nickerson letter, where they provide the services outside of your perimeters. You guys sometimes cannot handle everything. It's evident, and we can see that. So if you can't, dismiss yourselves and let the professionals outside who have the right credentials to help these children. And if anyone else in this room needs information, I can give it to you, and it's in Albany. And they would be appalled to see how the funds and the money is being trickled down, because it starts in Albany.
Thank you.
Onyx, did you want to speak?
Go ahead, Mackenzie.
I would just like to make sure we're going to address this couple right here because I'm agitated right now. I've raised the issue about their child 4 or 5 times, and each time I'm told, not my purview, we're going to take care of it. He's been without an education for 4 years, and a promise without a follow-through is worth literally nothing. I'm disgusted. So please ensure that someone gets in contact with them, and he's not the only child that this happens to, so we need some sort of plan from the special education department of how we avoid this issue long-term, because it's really unacceptable.
Okay, so I just want to address a couple things that come up. And absolutely, there needs to be support to this family and what is going on, and that will be checked into this week in terms of home instruction. Speaking in general, not about any specific child on home instruction, I think it's important for the community to know that we have to also abide by a contract. And whether that person can or can be not employed for home instruction is based on contractual regulations and requirements. However, that doesn't count in terms of what you need for your child. So this will be looked into, and I'm looking through, and I definitely will make sure that we get some type of resolution around home instruction for you. I also want to make a comment in terms of district recruitment. I'm going to ask Ms. Holder to help me on certain things. There have been certain initiatives around district recruitment. We know special ed has been one of those areas in which that the district does need more support, and we have been acting on that. We have added several more special education teachers. We added more supervisors for the last, I think, month. There was recommendation last board meeting, and we had to repost for another position. We added also CPSE chairs. We've added speech pathologists. We've added psychologists. We've also added OT specialists. We do know that there's also been an increased need for aides. We have been trying to recruit, and we have added close to 15 aides this year alone. It's still not enough. We know that it's not enough. Within our budget presentation tonight that was just reviewed, there was additional adds for special education. Our community has a need and a demand. It's something that this leadership team has been very transparent since August 1. That there were certain compliance issues, there were certain concerns, and we were rebuilding a department. I know that that doesn't individually feel better for each family that is struggling right now for services. We understand that, but we are trying to fill the seats and get the services as fair as possible and as quickly as possible. So I can't speak about any individual situation. In terms of other recruitment efforts, I'm going to ask Mrs. Holder to respond to what the district has been doing.
So we've sat down and we've reached out to all the local colleges and formed partnerships with them for creating a pipeline to provide teachers, teacher assistants to the district. We've had several job fairs where we've hired multiple people. We've had the job fairs on Saturdays. I want to thank the administrators who have sat with me through interviews and recruited on their Saturdays. We're doing job fairs in the evenings. We do job fairs during the daytime, and we have hired a tremendous amount of staff through those job fairs. We are constantly reaching out to different avenues, churches, colleges. We have spent our time really recruiting and trying to cut the number down. It's not an excuse that there's a shortage, but we have been doing our best consistently to address it. But there are contractual requirements that we have to meet. But just this week alone, we had a job fair on Saturday. We have a job fair full day tomorrow at New Paltz, and then we have a job fair in the evening. So the district is constantly working towards recruiting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're at item 6.1.
Okay. Good evening. First, I'd like to introduce Mr. Rob Glowacki, who, along with some of our building principals, will present their school comprehensive education plans required by New York State.
Good evening, everyone. Mr. President, Superintendent Manning Campbell, executive team. Can I have all my principal colleagues come on up? So tonight, we're going to get a SEP, so a school comprehensive education plan update on our key strategies that our schools in accountability status are working on in the 25-26 school year. Does this? Here we go. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so first up is Dr. Bunce from Bombville.
He told me 2 minutes. But anybody that knows me knows that when I'm excited about something, brevity is not my friend. So I'm going to read for you tonight so that I can keep myself focused. Otherwise, I will tell you about all of the good things that are happening since we're here talking about children. So I'd like to say good evening. I am Dr. Bunce, and I am the very proud principal of Baumville Elementary School. The key priorities at Baumville continue to focus on supporting the whole child, academically and socially. We are currently strengthening writing, key strategy 1, across all grade levels to help students clearly express their thinking. In math, key strategy 2, we are helping students better understand and use math language so they can explain their reasoning and solve problems with confidence. And we are building, key strategy 3, a strong and continually supportive school community by ensuring students feel a sense of belonging and clearly understand expectations. So currently for our key strategy 2, since we want to do the math, students are showing stronger math fluency, meaning they are solving problems more efficiently and with greater understanding. And at any time, you can come to Baumville and see what we're up to.
All right, so for Gidney Avenue, we are focusing on professional learning communities. That has been one of our 3-year strategies, really focusing on our explicit vocabulary instruction and focusing on writing and really unpacking our math word problems. One of the big things that we're really focusing on is our vocabulary instruction. All of our students have vocabulary notebooks. Our teachers have worked in instructional practice teams building out high-level tier 2 words for them to be able to really increase their vocabulary knowledge. Parents, staff are seeing a huge increase with students' ability of explaining their words and explaining their thinking in their writing and in their math word problems. So we're really seeing some fun things we're building on. We're going to be building on our vocabulary instruction. I'm thinking about how we can include more fun ways of doing it at the in lunchtime and having more of vocabulary fun words throughout the month, incorporating it into our family newsletters so that our families knows which individual words are getting focused on in each grade level. So it's continuing to build. We have a lot of steam behind that. The teachers are really behind it and the kids are really starting to love it and it's coming to life.
Good evening, everybody. It's been a long night. Pat Swift, Heritage Middle School. We have 2 strategies this year. This is our first year as a TSI school, and it's focusing on restorative practices, and blessings to whoever came up with hiring a restorative coordinator, because it's been a huge asset to the school, and collaborative learning. Both are going strong right now. Our teachers have had collaborative learning workshops and restorative workshops through the year, and they're buying into them and enjoying them. We had a great one on February 18th, where we did the entire faculty had a restorative practices training, and now we're translating that into our next professional development day in April, which is going to be based on restorative and collaborative coming together. What I'm excited about waking up tomorrow morning bright and early is tomorrow is Collaborative Wednesday at HMS, where our teachers are opening their doors to their administrators and any other teachers who wants to go and see models of collaborative teaching. So come visit us anytime you want.
Good evening, I'm Tara Marshall, I'm the principal of Horizons. We have 2 key strategies that focus on instruction. One is to support regular meetings known as PLCs, Professional Learning Communities. That's an opportunity where we regularly share expertise and work collaboratively and review data. The second instructional strategy is where we took the core phonics survey in kindergarten through grade 2 and also UFly placement test for grades 3, 4, and 5. So all students at Horizons, we know their individual strengths and weaknesses and exactly where to start intervention around phonics. And in the third strategy, which is non-instructional, we're focusing on family and community engagement, where we're increasing positive relationships because we feel it is linked to improved attendance and academics, and also just motivation for both students and staff. And we celebrate perfect attendance, improved attendance, and our international baccalaureate traits such as caring, reflectiveness, open-mindedness, and so on. So that's what we're focusing on at Horizons.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Roderick Phoenix. I'm the principal of South Middle School.
At South, we created 3 key strategies for instruction and 1 non-instructional strategy. We focused on implementing reading strategies across all grade levels so students can focus on vocabulary and be able to comprehend their grade level text. To pair with that, we created another strategy where we'll be focusing on writing across all curriculums to create explanation and application to the content so that we can generate better writers as well. The last strategy was most important, was to create engagement through small group instructions, because we all know that the students learn best from being engaged in conversation with their peers, listening to each other and sharing ideas. Excuse me. And the last one was the one that we focused on to build better trust with our families by creating more family engaging activities and events and opportunities for parents to learn and come into the building to be an equal partner with us. Thank you and good night.
Good evening, everyone. Matt Dotto, one of the NFA co-principals.
And Susan Valentino, the other co-principal. Thank you.
We have 3 strategies, 2 instructional and 1 non-instructional. Our focus at NFA is in literacy for strategy 1 and numeracy for strategy 2, incorporating discourse continuum. And what that is the ability for our students to speak in full sentences and providing activities and strategies that bring them from a 0 of not talking in class or not speaking in class to actually speaking in full sentences. And one of the strategies could be a turn and talk and be able to respond back to the class amongst each other or the entire class.
Another thing we're doing is each teacher has chosen 5 students, and they are pushable students. What that means is those students are on the borderline. They're either, quote, yellow students that we want to push to be green students, and a green student means they're on track for graduation and they're on track for everything they need, or a red student, which is really struggling academically, and push them to be yellow, which is more middle of the line. They might be struggling in a few things. So each teacher picked 5 students, and then they're trying different strategies in their classroom with them. And not only does that help those 5 students, but it just eventually helps all students in that classroom with various strategies, including questioning skills and just sharing with each other and working together in a group. And I think that's about it.
And then non-instructional strategy is strengthening the school-wide implementation of social emotional, so SEL, at all, and by the way, just to be clear, it's at all 3 campuses, not just at Maine, not at North and West, it's all 3 campuses. And we are working together within PLCs, and it's common with all of us, all the principals that have spoken, that they've said it one way or another about sense of belonging, having students as part of the SL program or strategy about sense of belonging for our students to feel important and wanted in the school. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. So, sir, there are some common themes across all our SEPs. Our literacy instruction, our math discourse, numeracy skills, PLCs, that's a common thread, a big structure that's how we're improving instruction. And with our teachers, for our students, we're working on improving writing across content areas, and all that is driven by data and small group interventions, right? Because that's really where it all happens, that small group and small group interventions and our social emotional learnings. We need our students to feel safe, welcomed, and affirmed to be able to learn. So all of those components are popping up through all of the school comprehensive education plans, which were created last year and being implemented now. And the next slide you'll see is that there are other trends in the District Comprehensive Improvement Plan. The District Comprehensive Improvement Plan last year is a summary of the school comprehensive education plans. It is created second. It has to review all of the SEPs of what are the school's priorities. And that team last year did the work, reviewed the SEPs, and then created a District Comprehensive Improvement Plan, pulling identified targets from what the schools are doing. So thank you to the executive leadership and the board team for supporting the work that we identified in our schools to make us all continuing to move. Some schools going in good standing, some schools still making progress. But we thank you for the support and the leadership from Dr. Freeman Mack, Dr. Manning Campbell, and the executive team to be able to do this work, because it is not easy and it affects all of us, because there's SIG funds, our school improvement monies, our postings. It's touching every department, and for all the sake of improving our outcomes for our students. So thank you, and that is our mid-year update.
Thank you, Mr. Glowacki and team. Thanks for helping to lead and coordinate us. Good. You're welcome.
There's a page 10, questions. You guys didn't think you were going to get away that easy, did you?
I tried. I did. I cleaned that up pretty well.
Mr. Howard.
No, nice presentation. I love the strategies, but I was curious, what are the checkpoints that's going to show the effectiveness of these new strategies? And another question on the tail of that, as students show proficiency, and I'm assuming that the checkpoints and ultimately would be better grades and students progressing upwardly, but what about the students who aren't getting it? What is put in place to make sure, as one of our statements used to be, every student, every day? What about the students that don't get it or aren't getting it? Is there anything in place to ensure that we're not leaving anybody on the sideline?
So the best part about a school comprehensive education plan is that it's a living document. It is a plan that we're able to manipulate and move based on the needs of the students. So there are beginning of the year checkpoints that all of us are completing and working on. There are mid-year checkpoints, and there's end of year reports. Were we successful? Were we not? How are we doing? What state testing data is showing? What is the high stake assessment data showing? But also, what are our curriculum-based measures? And say you have vocabulary initiatives. How are we monitoring that internally as a building with our teachers during those professional learning communities, or writing, or whatever content, to really keep track of who's that pushable kid? And then, okay, so these kids we can push to the next level, and then also then go from there. What interventions do we need to build in for the child who's not making that progress? That's the work Dr. Freeman Mack leads with us in curriculum instruction to support, and the rest of the principals. So yeah.
Go ahead.
So what we're doing is it's called Strive for Five, the 5 students that each teacher has selected. We surveyed those students in the beginning when they were first chosen. So we've surveyed them to see how they're feeling, where they are feeling not equipped to handle instruction or handle academics. And so at checkpoints, we are surveying them again to see what their needs are and see what they are asking for support in. And that seems to be one small step into reaching those students that normally sometimes don't have a voice.
Also, just to add to that as well, in addition to that, our cohort teams are administrator, social worker, school psychologist, counselor, attendance people that are part of the team are evaluating on a weekly basis through the cohort, our red, yellow, green, our good to go system. Students that are behind, it's also a red, yellow, green with attendance. So they're monitoring the students that you're speaking to, Mr. Howard, the question you asked, on a weekly basis in that team to identify strategies in addition to what Ms. Valentina just spoke to, and our pushables, our students that we want to move from from red to yellow or yellow to green, in order to address whatever need. It might be an attendance issue, a grade issue, and provide that support so they would set up a contract or support system for those students.
So one of the things that's also starting to permeate the district is the core collaborative. The core collaborative is elevating student voice in the process of education. So we're listening to our students, as you've kind of heard as a common theme. And in listening to our students, one of the things that we're training our teachers to do, that Mike Jernigans and Mr. McGrath are doing through Panorama, is that we're building in surveys Surveys can be done daily, weekly, monthly, whatever time frame that you put on them in order to gain access to what it is that the students are thinking. We're also implementing impact teams for each curriculum area in order to ensure that the data and the accountability measures are thoroughly investigated in those timeframes that Mr. Dotto and Mr. Glowacki had spoken about, in order to ensure that we're constantly working in what's called a scientific improvement process. So we're planning, we're implementing, we're coming back and we're thinking and we're looking, and then we're replanning and we're re-implementing. So we're constantly going in a circle of learning to ensure that we have every data point that we possibly can. The impact teams are coming together, and we're utilizing as many community and parent-minded voices as possible, because we do understand, as those of us that attended strategic planning, that many of the voices that come to the table are the voices that always come to the table. We have to find the ones that don't.
So dovetailing on that, I'm going to take a leap and say that one of the biggest issues of the children that aren't getting or benefiting from this is kids that are probably high absentee rates or issues like that. So are the SEL teams, are they big enough? Are they strong enough? Are there enough numbers? Because I know you got to be in the game to play the game. And if kids aren't coming to school, kids have other things that are impacting their ability to come to school and learn. Are we drilling down on those issues? And with that question, are the SEL teams strong enough and large enough to really impact and do that work?
So I'm just going to say, we have amazing staffs. We love our staff, but we always will take more. We will never say no. If you're going to give me, if we're going to get some more, wonderful. Everybody will work. But the thing is that we work tirelessly to form those relationships, to go through different barriers, to get kids to feel welcome and affirmed into schools, to then start the learning. And I think I'll speak for all of us. There are some amazing people I'm standing up here with, and they have amazing staff who they get to drive work every day. And it's amazing to be able to go support them in school improvement work, to see how much growth students have made in our district on state high-stake assessments, curriculum-based assessments, and it gives me the chills just saying it right now. We have some of the highest growth, some amazing work getting done, and there's a lot of work to get done still with a high sense of urgency, but we're not afraid of doing the work, and we have the schools and the teams who want to do the work.
And I don't doubt that. And I know you have an incredible group, incredible team, but I guess my question was more in the direction of, if we need more, let's get more. Because I'm going to tell you something. We have a lot of children in this district that are falling in the gaps. And it's not because of a lack of what we're trying to do, it's that the capacity is not there, and we need to have some honest conversations, and there's no better time than to have those conversations than around budget time. If we need more, let's get more. If you ask for more and they tell you no, so be it. But we need to be able to make sure that we have the numbers to address the issues. We all know the students that are falling in the gaps, and it's not because of what we're not doing, it's because the numbers aren't there. Let's be honest. This is the time to have that conversation.
Mr. Howard, and to the whole board, as Mr. Glowacki answered, it's kind of a loaded question, right? We can easily say more. It's also what we do with the team, right? And I think that they're working tirelessly. I'll speak for NFA and the work that they're doing, the team is doing. And sometimes you might not see the change right away, because it's an everyday intervention, it's an everyday supporting students that are falling through the cracks, the ones that you're mentioning, again, to your first question. And I think it's really important to truly analyze what we really need in each not only each building, but as a district, and what does SEL, and what does that really look like? And it might not be just the number, but how we use that number and how we provide that service. Now, that being said, You can look at numbers, you can look at, how many students in one building versus how many SEL people you have. We can do ratios, we can break the numbers down, but at the end of the day is what are we doing to support? Even if it's tireless work, it's never ending. I'm just, real talk, as you say, real talk, it's never ending work, and the people that do that work are the true heroes, to be quite honest with you, because they're doing it every single day. And even though sometimes people want numbers, it might not be that simple to just say, I'm going to go up 2% or go up 5% or 10%, but the work is being done. And yes, can we use more people? Of course, we're going to say that. Especially as principals, we're going to say that. We want that, but what's the next step? Moving forward, looking down the road, that's really the not only the question, but the plan that we need to be able to provide that service.
Thank you.
I wanted to give you a point of view from a guy who was out of the principal business for a year. And what I've seen since I've come here, to answer part of your question, there's a lot of support in Newburgh. I've seen support and more avenues of people to go to than I've seen in my career. Now, granted, I came from a school district that was smaller, but I still had 900 kids in my middle school, which is, 100 off of where I am now, 100 less at Heritage. But I think there's more opportunity for our children for growth now than a year ago. And the example I'm going to give you is how do we catch the kids now? If I needed to catch the kids in ELA, Mr. Glowacki said, who are pushable, who we're going to take to the next level, I would have to go into Lyric, and I would have to click on to my school, and I would have to watch this little circle go around for 10 minutes before I could download all of my students and then analyze where they sat in an Excel sheet. What we're doing now, Mr. Glowacki taught me, is our educational version of ChatGPT, where I can take that data, drop it into Solara, and say, Solara, I want to know which of my Black and special education students are the most pushable to go from a level 1 to a level 2, right? And it's going to give me their names, and it's going to give me their cut scores for last year, and then we can dig into them even deeper of what they need. And that's what we've been doing, and I don't think I'm the only one doing that, but we're able to focus on more kids quicker than we ever had before. And you can do that with discipline and any kind of referrals. So that information that took us a long time, 2 years ago, is 2 minutes away.
Thank you.
So, not to belabor your question, but I think there's a component that maybe we've missed. Because one of the things after being here for 26 years in a community that I love very much, we have many of the resources that we need because we have a community that loves its people. And so what I think some of the things we need to do is we need to remember that, and we need to come together as a community and utilize every resource we have. We have pastors, we have AAU coaches, we have community-owned organizations that are gold backs. We have all kinds of things at our discretion, but we don't always come together to use those resources the way that we need to. So I think we need to remember sometimes who we are and what we have, because we have no limit of passion for children and for dedication. We just have to bring it to the table.
And I'm going to end with this. I appreciate your answers and everything, but I know we're going in a good direction, how we've changed the ability for us as a district to engage in the community. But as a layperson, I'm going to tell you, we need to do better. We're doing better, but we still got work to do. That gap between the school district and our community, those community-based organizations, those organizations that you just mentioned, that can be assets to us, that can help us do the things that we need to do, because there's so many young kids that come to school every day that participate in those programs, those groups, those organizations. We got to build stronger bonds with those organizations to use them as our assets and back and forth. It has to be done, because I see too many kids on the sideline. I'm telling you, I see some kids and I'm trying to figure out why. And I know that, we do as much as we can do here, but And I know Dr. Campbell has made an effort to stop working in silos, to clean those silos up so that we're more engaging and working together. But I think that we need to find a better way to engage the families and the communities. Because if you look at the gaps, they're coming from a pocket area. And we got to do better with that group. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Howard. Anybody else? I have one comment. On many of, I wouldn't take anything away from any of these. They're student-focused. They're quite wonderful. A couple of you wrote down about professional learning as a priority. Just from my side of the fence here, and I know the board's side, professional learning is where it all starts, making sure our faculty's getting trained on the right page, everybody's teaching the same material, possibly in a different way, but it's being delivered uniformly across the board. So I'm an advocate of training. I know the board is an advocate of training, but it's an important component that we could help you with if you ask us or let us know what you need. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good job.
This young man deserves a shout out. He's been sitting there for 3 hours, hasn't moved, said a word. He's got to get an A.
Just a shout out to you. Good job. You learn so much when you come here. Oh, yeah. Thank you all very much. Get home safely. Good job. 6.3, Mr. Ben Gawker, our director of the Newburgh Free Library, will present the proposed budget for the library for the upcoming fiscal year. Hello.
Hello, good evening. In spite of what the nameplate says, I am Ben Gawker, Library Director for the Newburgh Free Library, right downstairs. And I'm pleased to be here tonight to present our budget for fiscal year 2027 to members of the community and to members of the board and administration. Here we go. Okay. So when we embark on our budget development, we begin with our mission and our goals. And the mission of the Newburgh Free Library, we can go to the next slide, is to inform, enrich, and inspire people of all ages. It's a pretty broad mission, but more specifically, we strive to accomplish this by providing innovative, patron-centered services, collections, resources, programming, and technology, by creating a building reimagined to meet the needs of the community, expanding community awareness with a focus on outreach, and investing in staff, their skill development and training, and also building collections for generations to come. All right, next slide. But before I go into it any further, if that old formulation that a picture can say 1,000 words is true, I think these two pictures can say more than every single word in all 130,000 books on the shelves in the library. On the left, we have a class visit here. These are young kids coming in to explore the library on their own terms, to open their minds, to open the pages, and to open worlds of discovery for them. They can just lay around on the floor, they can run around the stacks a little bit, not too much, and pull the books off that spark their interest. And on the right, this was a tween teen craft program we had. I think it was called Zentology. It was a self-care wellness program. And I don't know if you can read it on that card, but this is important what it says here, what she wrote. It says, I deserve to feel good about myself. And that's the kind of space that we strive to create at the library, a space where kids especially, but everybody, can feel good about themselves. We talk about places that serve as a third space in our society, and that's a public library, somewhere between school and between work. You can come and you can be. Everyone belongs at the library. But we're not here to talk about all that. Let's get to some numbers. Next slide. So we're still in the midst of our 2026 fiscal year, but we have compiled our data for the state annual report for fiscal year 2025. And I don't want to rely completely on quantitative stuff because I really do believe the library is a qualitative place, but quantitatively, things look great. We registered 3,295 new library patrons this past year, and that's a 52% increase over the last year. A lot of this I owe to a concerted effort by the librarians and the district staff to get into the school. We went to cafeterias and we signed kids up. We tried to get as many kids library cards as possible, and it worked. We saw 167,925 people walk through the library's doors this past year. That was a 5% increase over the last year. We saw a 4% increase in attendance at our programs. That's for children and adults, over 12,000. Summer reading, we had a 33% increase in the number of people who have registered for summer reading. That might be because if you registered early, you had an opportunity to win a ride on the Sloop Clearwater. So we tried to incentivize it, and we had those gift packages donated by Sloop Clearwater. Try and give people experiences as well as access to books, services, and programs. Our total circulation of all physical materials, just over 100,000. And this is a theme you'll see probably from here until eternity. Circulation of e-materials up by about 25%. So we're really seeing a sea change in the way people are using libraries. More on that to come. We also provided over 26,000 interlibrary loan items. So we're the central library for RCLS. We provide a lot of collections for our member libraries, 46 member libraries in the Ramapo Catskill Library System, but also to libraries outside of our service area. We also had over 20,000 reference transactions. That's people coming to the desk every day and asking us for services, programs, and even just help, computer help, maybe learning how to download something on their iPhone. And you can see the public internet computer sessions, over 18,000, and we've had over 125,000 wireless sessions. All right, next slide. What we focus on doesn't change all that much. Literacy is fundamental to what we do. We have pictures here of kids at story times, kids at our popular Ujima program, also teens at our Battle of the Books. Last year they were champions, this year 4th place, but they're all phenomenal. Not pictured here, we also have adult literacy offerings and ESL classes that are really well attended. All right, next slide. We also focus on our partnerships, and this year I wanted to highlight our partnerships with the school district. There are only 2 libraries in the state of New York that are governed by a Board of Education. We happen to be one of them. And I think it serves us well. We have a really close partnership with our school district. I talk to my colleagues who are directors in New York State, and they knock on the door at the school, they get no response. We have it baked in. And it shows. We have Project Hope, Family Reading Day, which is on April 25th. Last year we had about 600 people come. We're expecting the same numbers. Recently with Dr. Freeman Mack, we set up Newburgh Neon Nights, a late Friday night for teens. We're seeing about 20 to 25 kids a night on the first 3 sessions there. Snug brought 2 van loads of kids on the second night. We have pizza, we have games, we have trivia. We created a teen advisory board so the teens themselves can drive a lot of that programming at the library. In the lead up to the musical, we had story times of Matilda. There I am reading to a room of about 15 kids. There's a little girl there at that session who was like Matilda herself. She had already read the book 3 times. It was amazing. And we've been working with Mr. Kaplan at the Armory Unity Center to offer parent-child workshops. We're doing this regularly, weekly, and we've worked with Dr. O'Grady on this. And we're getting early intervention specialists, pediatricians, dentists, nutritionists, people to come in and talk to families while we do story times and offer crafts and programs. All right, next slide. We also are lucky to have a really engaged Friends group. Not every library in New York State has a Friends of the Library organization. We have one, and they're special. This year, they helped us organize an exhibition of paintings of John F. Gould, who was a local artist. I believe both of his sons were teachers, maybe at NFA. This is the first time that these paintings have ever been exhibited. They've been in storage in West Point, and the Friends coordinated this whole exhibit. We put together a very special evening. We had about 100 people attend, and it's going to kick off a few years of programming around the semi-quincentennial to mark Newburgh's special place within the Revolutionary War. And this also, I think, underscores an effort that we're doing at the library to focus more on local history programming. We have a construction project to finish the local history workroom so we can move all of those special collections into climate-controlled room where they'll be safeguarded against any kind of natural disasters. We're not only looking to collect the distant past from, say, 18th, early 19th century, but we're also going to start an effort to really focus on telling the story of Newburgh now, or Newburgh in the 20th century. The part of the Newburgh story that's really not in the archive. There are documentary challenges there, but we have an incredible staff, an incredible local history librarian who are working to rectify that. All right, next slide. If you were at this meeting, you could have gone downstairs and had a 6-foot-long submarine sandwich with some of your neighbors. We have an incredible community engagement team at the library, And they were recently awarded a grant from IREX Corporation and Walmart Foundation to start a bridge building program. The impetus behind it was to connect longtime residents with brand new residents and to start a dialogue there. Every community changes, but the library can really be a hub to kind of bridge that divide, and that's the impulse here. I was at the program on Saturday, and we had to keep bringing tables and chairs to the program. We had about 50 people attend. We had someone who just moved from Buffalo here about 6 months ago, and they're also surprised by the winter. And then we had someone who had lived here for 74 years. So there's a really broad spectrum. It's been so inspiring and a great way to introduce people also to the library. All right, next slide. So at every turn, community is at the heart of what we do. Whether it's a tiny art show or a sustainable gardening program or a Halloween dress-up or a repair cafe, a chess program or hanging out with an elephant, or having a former NFA grad design a brand new cool library card, which I think also drove library card registration this year. We're always trying to involve people and get the library out into the community and meet people where they are rather than asking them to come to our doors. Next slide. We also do work to advocate, not just for the Newburgh community, but for the library community. There's me looking very serious over my glasses at Assembly Member Robert Carroll. Yeah, my wife likes to laugh at that picture. But along with colleagues from Brooklyn Public Library and Ramapo Catskill Library System, I've convened a statewide ebook working group. And we're working with 23 of the system directors across the state to try and collectively push back against unfair licensing practices in the ebook marketplace. Right now, ebooks, there's no avenue to ownership. A library can only license these digital objects. So you're using public money, but you can't build real collections. The equivalent would be if you were building roads for a town and you had to rebuild that road every 5 years because you were licensing the road. This would fundamentally change the way public libraries and public collections of public good are built and established and maintained. And it's something that not enough people know about, but Newburgh is leading in an effort to sort of to change that. And that's me and my staff in Albany, there on the right, meeting with legislators to advocate for more construction funding, intellectual freedom, legislative priorities that are on the agenda, and library operating funds. All right, next slide. So going through our numbers, we ran the tax cap compliance calculation, and what you'll see there in the orange line, just above the yellow line, that's what the allowable tax cap levy limit is, about 6.2 million. But this year, we're not going to go out for any increase. We're going to keep it flat, same as last year. All right, next slide. And there's a bit of the tax levy history. Where it's blue is where we've gone under the tax cap levy limit. The last 3 years we have. This year there will be no increase. The last 2 years, modest increases. Green is where we're right at the levy limit, and then the red where we're above that levy limit. All right, next slide. This is a summary of the proposed budget. You'll see the appropriated fund balance there. There's a large number there, 337,842. As I had mentioned earlier, we talked a bit about the local history, the emphasis on local history and the local history construction project. We did accept a bid back in the fall, but the bid came in over budget. A lot of that budget overrun was going to come out of this budget, and that included like HVAC automation, that included furniture for the room. We also have designs for an entire 5-phase building renovation just for the library, not upstairs here. And we're going to continue that work with CS Arch. And that'll happen in this next fiscal year, and the balance on that contract for the design work was also substantial, around $80,000. So a lot of that are going to be for capital improvements or one-time equipment purchases, like a new ADA compliant front door that works. So that's what we're looking at out of that appropriated fund balance. Next slide. And this is all for your library. I say this to everybody. I'm a zealot, but I'm just a custodian of the library, not a director, because this is the library for the community. And I'm happy to take questions. Though there's not a slide, Mr. Howard, that says questions. I'm happy to take
I got questions. Actually, I don't have questions. I just want to take this opportunity to really congratulate you on the work that you've done and will continue to do with our library. We've had great library directors in the past, but you've taken that trajectory and took it to another level. You're engaged in the community. You're everywhere you need to be. And I got to tell you, the telltale sign for me was I pulled up here, I believe it was a Saturday, maybe a Friday. Hold on, let me get it right. It was a Friday evening or a Saturday, whatever it was. And I do a lot of mentoring with young boys at the different middle schools, and I see a couple of my boys walking down. I called them over. I said, "What are you doing down here?" "We're going to the library." I said, "Really?" I was like, "Wow!" And that was something different. I'm talking about 6th and 7th graders coming down, spending time in the library, getting the use out of the library, and what you've been able to do with our older community members. I don't want, that's the wrong word, politically incorrect. I don't like that word either. Oh, seasoned. Seasoned, there you go. Seasoned. But they have a place to go and they're taking advantage of it. And the different programs that you have going on down there are incredible. And I got to tell you, the Friends of the Library, that group is an awesome group of individuals who are really committed to this community and making this library one of the best libraries. And I'm going to say in New York State, because you guys are doing incredible things. And I just want to say, I wanted to say thank you, thank you, thank you.
Well, I don't know how to respond to that, but I have an incredible staff, and I have a supportive administration and a supportive board. So thank you, Mr. Howard. Any other questions? Yeah, Mr. Dre.
One of the line items you had, fines and local revenue, going from $100,000 to $250,000, which helped close the gap for the whole budget.
So the question's about the fines and local revenue, and I realize I should rename that category because we are fine-free. What that includes are library charges, and that can be everything from selling earbuds for $2 to selling flash drives for $5 to also doing printing, faxing, and copying, which we actually do a phenomenally large amount of. So that's one side. We also have a cafe, so that's cafe receipts that goes into that. Also lumped in that local revenue would be interest earnings and then the pilot payment that we have projected for next year. So that's why it seems like a much bigger increase, but the fines are actually going down. So, yeah,
That's why I was confused with that one, how it was going to go up 150%. And
yeah, and that's my fault. I need to amend that. Yeah.
Any other questions? So we're at 7. Oh, okay. I could do them if you want.
Yeah.
All right, we're at items 6.4 and 6.5. Get a motion and a second on 6.4 and 6.5. First of all, excuse me, does anybody want to separate an item?
Can you just separate them?
Okay, no problem. Okay. So could I get a motion and a second on 6.4?
So move.
Second.
Discussion on 6.4? Okay.
Mr. Bergarelli,
Yes.
Ms. Burks,
Yes.
Mr. Duray,
Yes.
Mr. Howard,
Yes.
Mr. Levinstein.
Yes.
Ms. Politi,
Yes.
Ms. Christine Bello,
Yes.
Ms. Thomasina Bello.
Yes.
Ms. Boucher.
Yes.
Thank you. Item 6.5, could I get a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
Thank you. Discussion on 6.5? Ms. Bello?
Yes, I noticed on this that there's no designation for the amount of hours or days of service to the district for this $19,850. Also, the contract does not identify the need. It does not reference the school improvement plan, which is required when it's in receivership. It does not explain why internal staff cannot perform these duties. And some of the duties are, duplicative. I mean, what he's being asked to do, we already have existing instructional coaches, lead teachers, building administrators, and central office staff. And I just don't get it. But the biggest thing that bothers me is that there's no specific amount of time he has to spend to earn this money. So I feel as if it's like a blank check structure type of thing, because he's not held to, like, you're working 7 hours a day, 5 days a week. It doesn't specify anything like that.
Okay, so there is a scope, and what we're going to see, especially over the next couple months as South goes into receivership, this actually is a portion of an additional grant that was earned by the school, right? So this is a grant that really had to focus on school improvement for South Middle. And a part of that is also looking into their tier 1 core instruction, and sometimes there's a need to bring a consultant from the outside to look at instruction, to look at student work, to look at how our educators and our administrators are conducting professional development. And this is what this consultant is going to be looking at, to help us develop a plan, because we have to take a serious look of how that building is structured and how that building is operating. And sometimes it's not what we're doing internally. Sometimes we need an outside lens for that. So there'll be a series, I think, within the contract. It talks about a needs assessment. It talks about a needs assessment, professional development, looking over our different plan and the development of the movement forward towards the summertime for students and then as well as teachers. It says it within the contract.
Based on the fact that the school is in receivership, don't we have these supports available to us from the state?
We do have some supports that are available from the state. However, it is also, there's also funding from the state that is allocated for us to do this very thing. So it's not just, okay, we have outside supports from the state that look at, okay, perhaps there needs to be different services and supports, and that is given to us through a grant. So this is a grant-funded initiative. It's not something that's coming from local. They're asking us to look at what we're doing in this building and construct a plan to try to help remedy it. We're asking for an outside lens to help us develop the best plan possible.
Okay, I just want to say one thing. I hear this all the time in different departments, but grant money is not pennies from heaven. It's taxpayer dollars. And so just because it's there, there could be other more important things to spend it on. But
I'm sorry, grant money is specifically allocated for what we have to use it for. It's not pennies from heaven. There is a specificity to what we use the monies for. So the supports that are from the state are not necessarily the folks who conduct the needs assessment. So in the world of transparency, we want our teachers, our educators, our staff members to feel super supported. And so continuing to do the same thing over and over by having us go in to look and observe and see some of the challenges that we've been having in that building. As you saw in the presentation, it was identified since 2004. We need to do things a little bit differently. And so the state makes recommendations about a needs assessment, and this is the process that we're going to do to conduct a needs assessment. That needs assessment provides the staff with a safe space, someone they can speak to. This is an outside consultant they'll be able to speak to. Because sometimes when you do these types of activities with the staff that you're working with, you may or may not always give an expanded answer. So this outside consultant will give us a true opportunity to really listen to the voices inside the building.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any other discussion on 6.5?
Ms. Burks?
Yes.
Mr. Duray?
Yes.
Mr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Levenstein?
Yes.
Ms. Politi?
Yes.
Ms. Christine Bello?
No.
Ms. Thomasina Bello?
No.
Ms. Boucher?
No.
Mr. Bergarelli?
Yes. Thank you. We're moving to item 7.1, Board President update on NYSED Appeal 22541. It's an information item only. If you could expand on the on 7.1 on the attachment. All right. On March 11th, 2026, the Commissioner of Education issued a decision in appeal number 22541 regarding an appeal brought by trustee Christine Bello. The appeal was dismissed in its entirety as untimely. Under New York State law, such appeals must be filed within 30 days. That requirement was not met. The decision also addressed and rejected the claim that the matters raised constituted a continuing violation, instead determining that they involved discrete acts subject to the 30-day filing requirement. As a result, the appeal was dismissed and no further review was taken. Process matters, deadlines matter, and when those standards aren't met, it still requires the time of the district, the attention of the district, and our lawyer, and public resources, which in this case included approximately $5,600 in taxpayer dollars that could have otherwise be directed toward our students. The Commissioner's decision is clear. This board remains focused on moving forward. That concludes my report. We're now moving on to item 7.2.
I would like to make a comment, please.
This was a discussion item only.
I know, I'd like to
The floor is not open, ma'am.
I would like to discuss it. I'm sorry.
The floor is not open. It's an information item only.
Point of order. She has the right to speak. She is a seated board member.
Not only that, you just spewed a lot of misinformation, Mr. Duray, to the public.
Is that so? Defend free speech. Where is that?
The chair doesn't recognize you.
It's very brief. It's very brief.
Let her speak.
The chair does not have to recognize a speaker on an information item.
Well, you put out misinformation for the public, and I want to clarify. How's that?
That's fine. During the next meeting, during non-agenda items,
No,
you could do
I'm
that.
going to clarify tonight, Mr. Duray, because this is not going to sit out in the public as false information. The fact of the matter is that decision was withdrawn
You're out of order,
within
ma'am.
hours of being issued. The state voided the dismissal. They reinstated the appeal to be decided on the merits. They apologized for their error, and they confirmed all of that to me in writing. I'll be submitting that written confirmation to the clerk so the record reflects the true facts. I apologize if I rained on your parade. And just one last thing, I do carry Pepto-Bismol in my purse in case you may need it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bello.
Not dismiss. Liar. I think I heard enough.
Moving on to 7.2. Mr. McCoy is going to take that.
7.2 reads as follows. Be it resolved that the board hereby holds the determination of the superintendent of schools in Education Law, Section 3214, appeal of student number 244735 regarding incident number 111025, based upon conducting a whole record review of this appeal.
Thank you. Any discussion on the item?
Point of order, sir. You need a motion and a second.
Get a motion and a second on 7.2. please.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion on 7.2?
Roll call, Mr. Duray,
Yes.
Mr. Howard,
Yes.
Mr. Levinstein,
Yes.
Ms. Politi,
Yes.
Ms. Christine Bello,
No.
Ms. Thomasina Bello,
No.
Ms. Boucher,
No.
Mr. Bergarelli,
Yes.
Ms. Burks.
Yes.
That item passes.
Was it? Yes. We are 8.1, student of the board.
Hello, everyone. So there's not too much to talk about because we will be having spring break soon, But so far, we are in our Spirit Week. Monday, yesterday, was Meme Day. Tuesday was Twin Day, which was today. Wednesday will be Teacher and Student Swap Day, so students will dress as teachers and teachers as students. Thursday will be Jersey Day, and Friday will be Pajama Day. I also want to recognize the Black History Month Assembly that was spoken earlier today. It took place yesterday, and there was a lot of cultural dances, music, and speeches made by the students, and that was very impressive. I went there myself, and I loved it. I also want to recognize that I'm a senior myself, and there's scholarships for seniors out in the NECSD website, and I just want to thank the district and the community for giving us that opportunity and giving us that step forward so that we can not only afford, but achieve better things with a second education, because that's very important, and I'm a senior myself, so that I'm taking advantage of that, and I will speak for like other seniors as well. And as well as yearbook orders, deadlines will be March 31st, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Thank you. Moving on to Clerk of the Board.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have 9.1 through 9.3 on consent.
Second.
Get a motion, a second on.
Motion already. You just need to ask for discussion, sir.
Any discussion on 9-1?
This is 9.1 through 9.3.
9-3, I apologize. 9-1 to 9-3.
Roll call, Mr. Howard,
Yes.
Mr. Levenstein,
Yes.
Ms. Politi,
Yes.
Ms. Christine Bello,
Yes.
Ms. Thomasina Bello,
Yes.
Ms. Boucher,
Yes.
Mr. Bergarelli,
Yes.
Ms. Burks,
Yes.
Mr. Duray.
Yes.
Moving on to item 9.4. We've contracted with a new vendor this year called Bold Election Management Systems. If you click on that link there, which is also on the district website under the Budget tab, by clicking on that link, you can enter in your information, and when you enter in that information, it'll tell you where you vote and what school location you vote at. It doesn't just give you the general election information anymore. This gives you, I vote at Bombville, you vote at Fostertown, you vote at Meadow Hill. I've gone through with this vendor the odds and evens of the streets, the ins and outs over by Fostertown, the ins and outs over by the Cornwall district. Nothing can be 100% accurate, but I feel very confident that we're as close as you're going to get. So if there's any questions from anybody from the community or from the board, I'd be happy to answer them, but this information is also on the district website. And then I'll move on to item 9.5. Oops, Mr. Bergarelli.
Thank you. Can we find a way to put that tab on the front page of the website? Because we have tabs that move by, that scroll, election this day, and that tab, because every year the question's asked, how do I find out where I vote? Looking through the menus, makes it a lot harder. Thank you.
Yes, sir. We can do that. Item 9.5, if you're interested in running for the board, there's still time to fill out your information and submit your petition to run for the board. To get on the city school district board, you need 100 signatures from qualified voters of the district. Those petitions are due in the clerk's office by 5 p.m. the last Wednesday of April. That is April 29th. This concludes my items, Mr. President.
Yes. Mr. Shaw, to clarify 7.1.
Ms. Bello made reference to a commissioner's decision. We had received the decision, and the decision indicated that the matter was dismissed for untimeliness. We have not received any other information from the commissioner. If Ms. Bello has that information, I'm happy to look at it. I looked through whatever my emails might be today. I don't see anything like that. And should there be any update, I'll immediately notify the board, all board members, including Ms. Bello.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw. Move on to Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources, Section 10, Ms. Holder.
Good evening, Mr. President. I have items 10.1 to 10.13 on consent.
Thank you. Would anybody like to separate out any items, 10.1 to 10.3? Get a motion and a second on 10.1 to 10.3?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? No. Mr. Levinstein.
Ms. Holder, is the following an accurate description of the Human Resources agenda being presented tonight? HR agenda items A through H, including appointments, changes, statuses, leave of absences, and retirements. Approve a negotiated memorandum of agreement with the Newburgh Teachers Association for a 2-year successor agreement, a contract effective retroactively from July 1st, 2025, and terminating on June 30th, 2027. Approve a resolution to terminate a CSEA employee. Approve 2 supplemental memorandum of agreements between the district and the CSEA. Approve the following: a human resources generalist appointment, her time to play after school, literacy, numeracy, and social emotional learning appointments, supported by McKinney-Vento. South Middle School Instructional Leadership Team appointments. Neon Nights Program appointments, supported by 21st Century Grant. Empire After School Program appointments, supported by Empire State After School Project Grant. FACE After Hour appointments, supported by federal funds. Rescind an appointment of a Wilson Reading System Level 1 employee. Rescind and approve South Middle School Saturday Academy program appointments, supported by School Improvement Grant. Ms. Holder, is this correct?
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Mr. Levinstein. Any other comments?
Roll call.
Wait, I do. Okay, I have another comment. So I would like to bring facts forward to clear up what I think is the misplaced anger and angst of some people regarding the contract being voted on. From February 27th till June 2nd, there was negotiation meetings between the teachers' union and the district with no progress. Who led the district during this time? Not the current superintendent. Who led the Board of Education during this time? Not the current board majority. 4 months of contract talks, no progress. June 2025, an impasse was declared, which means a deadlock, causing a pause, and a mediator is asked to step in to help reach an agreement. Who led the district at this time when an impasse was declared? Not the current superintendent. Who led the Board of Education at this time? Not the current board majority. A third-party mediator was assigned, and on November 10th, the mediator proposed an agreement. The NECSD accepted the mediator's proposal on November 10th. The union accepted this mediator's proposal later. Who led the district at this time of agreement? Yes, the current superintendent. Who led the Board of Education at this time of agreement? Yes, the current board majority. My point is that people do have a right to be angry or upset, but do not let it be misdirected by a few who have different objectives. Understand who is fighting for the betterment of our student, our teachers, our staff, and our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Levinstein.
Roll call. Mr. Levinstein?
Yes.
Ms. Politi?
Yes.
Ms. Christine Bello?
Yes.
Ms. Thomasina Bello?
Yes.
Ms. Boucher?
Yes.
Mr. Bergarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Burks?
Yes.
Mr. Duray?
Yes.
Mr. Howard?
Yes.
Thank you. Moving to Section 11, Assistant Superintendent of Finance, Ms. Roaring.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Finance Division presents items 11.1 through 11.13 for your consideration on consent.
Thank you. 11.1 to 11.13. Anybody like to separate any out? Ms. Bello?
11.8 and 11.9.
11.8, 11.9. Anybody else? Any separations? Okay, you got a motion on 11.1 to 11.13 minus 11.8 and 11.9.
So moved.
Discussion on those items?
Roll call, Ms. Politi,
Yes.
Ms. Christine Bello,
Yes.
Ms. Thomasina Bello,
Yes.
Ms. Boucher, Mr. Bergarelli, Ms. Burks,
Yes.
Mr. Duray,
Yes.
Mr. Howard,
Yes.
Mr. Levinstein.
Yes.
Thank you. Could I get a motion and a second on 11.8, please?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion on 11.8? Ms. Bello?
Yeah, I noticed that we're pulling out $361,000 out of non-instructional salaries. And so the questions that I have are these positions vacant? Are they being eliminated? Are we understaffed in those areas? And is this just a one-time maneuver?
So I don't think I'm clear on what the term maneuver means, but these are available funds sitting in the non-instructional salary lines. They're associated with a myriad of things, including unpaid leave, turnover where you don't have somebody in the position for the whole 365 days of the year, and they are being utilized for one-time expenditures, which would be a reasonable and appropriate way to redirect funds at this point in the year. The items that are outlined there in the resolution are relatively all health and safety matters that we want to make sure are addressed, including upgrading our security system, dealing with some fencing needs, roof leaks, and other things that are important to the environment in which our students come to every day.
Okay, so on the upgrades, I'm sorry.
That's all right. Go ahead, please.
On the upgrades that we're doing, are they long-term upgrades? Such as like capital upgrades or?
None of these would be considered capital expenditures at this time. Mr. Sager can speak to more specificity if you're inquiring about the security upgrades.
No, that's okay. Okay. Thank you.
Any other discussion on 11.8?
Roll call, Ms. Christine Bello,
Yes.
Ms. Thomasina Bello,
Yes.
Ms. Boucher,
Yes.
Mr. Bergarelli,
Yes.
Ms. Burks,
Yes.
Mr. Duray,
Yes.
Mr. Howard,
Yes.
Mr. Levinstein,
Yes.
Ms. Politi.
Yes. So moved.
Second. I just have one question. What is driving the increase in the contract services?
So in contractual services, as we determine things that we need, let's say if we needed an investigation that is not something that can be done by current employees, or if we needed an examination of an employee for fit for duty, those are things that are in contractual services.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? 11.9?
Roll call, Ms. Thomasina Bello,
No.
Ms. Boucher,
Yes.
Mr. Bergarelli,
Yes.
Ms. Burks,
Yes.
Mr. Duray,
Yes.
Mr. Howard,
Yes.
Mr. Levinstein,
Yes.
Ms. Politi,
Yes.
Ms. Christine Bello.
No.
Thank you, that concludes my items.
Thank you, Ms. Roaring. We're at Section 12, Assistant Superintendent, C&I. Dr. O'Grady, good evening.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. The Office of Curriculum and Instruction presents items 12.1 through 12.4 for your consideration and hopefully consent.
Thank you. We have 12.1 to 12.4. Anyone like to separate out any item?
12.3?
Okay. Get a motion, anybody else? Get a motion and a second on 12.1 to 12.4 minus 12.3.
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Discussion on 12.1 to 12.4 minus 12.3? Yes, sir.
Ms. Boucher?
Yes.
Mr. Bergarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Burks?
Yes.
Mr. Duray?
Yes.
Mr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Levinstein?
Yes.
Ms. Politi?
Yes.
Ms. Christine Bello?
Yes.
Ms. Thomasina Bello?
Yes.
Thank you. We're at 12.3. Could I get a motion in a second, please?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion on 12.3? Ms. Bello?
I'm just confused on this because this looks as if this person already did the work before the board approved any of this or the amount, and now we're voting on it after the fact. So I just seem peculiar to me.
So with Miss Arnold, she is a storyteller. She's an artist. She was coming to the district for the middle school level, and the amount was under 10,000. But when we discovered that Sojourner Truth, the statue of Mother and Child, was going to be here in April, we really wanted to also support the fact that she was coming with our elementary students. So we added some additional days and times for her to come in the month of March.
But no fiscal amount was approved by the board prior to her doing the work. Is that correct?
So I have the authority up to $10,000 to authorize contracts. So what Dr. Freeman Mac just explained is once she went over that threshold, that's when it was brought to the Board of Education.
Okay. I'm confused on this because you said up to 10,000, I understand that. But then Dr. Mack just said that it's, if there were some additional days.
That's why it was brought to the board, because initially, from my understanding, initially the up to $10,000 was spent. So the services did begin perhaps in February, and then there was an extension. So because it is a vendor and it's over the 10,000, although the work has already occurred, this is an extension of her work. So the work that she's now doing requires board approval because it's over 10,000 in totality.
But what is the bottom line amount?
So the bottom line amount, and it's right there in the document.
It's in the document.
It's in the document. There was one for 7,000, I want to say 7,841, and the other one's 4,120. I want to say that's the amount, but you can check it. So with any vendor that we have, if we use them in a single year, if it goes over $10,000, we need board approval. We were not privy that it would go over 10. We wanted to add some opportunities for our elementary students. So therefore, the second amount is coming to the board for approval. Kimberly, am I correct on that?
That was my understanding of your agreement, yes.
Thank you.
Any further discussion on 12.3?
Roll call. Mr. Bergarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Burks?
Yes.
Mr. Duray?
Yes.
Mr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Levinstein?
Yes.
Ms. Politi?
Yes.
Ms. Christine Bello?
No.
Ms. Thomasina Bello?
No.
Ms. Boucher?
No.
That item passes.
Thank you. We're at item 13, Assistant Superintendent, Exceptional Learners. Good evening, Dr.
Good evening,
not
Mr.
Doctor, I'm sorry.
It's all right. Good evening, Mr. President. The Division of Exceptional Learners has items 13.1 through 13.3 for your consent
Thank
and
you.
consideration this evening.
Anybody like to separate out? 13.2. Okay. Anybody else like to separate an item? Okay, get a motion and a second on 13.1 and 13.3.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion on 13.1 or 13.3?
Roll call. Ms. Burks?
Yes.
Mr. Duray?
Yes.
Mr. Howard? Yes. Mr. Levinstein?
Yes.
Ms. Politi?
Yes.
Ms. Christine Bello?
Yes.
Ms. Thomasina Bello?
Yes.
Ms. Boucher?
Yes.
Mr. Bergarelli?
Yes.
Thank you. We're at item 13.2. Get a motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion on 13.2. Go ahead, Ms. Bella.
Okay. Yes, I just have a couple of questions. On this, I see that the request for proposal went out, but I don't recall there ever being a vote ahead of that we were going to, make that move. That's the first thing. And the second thing would be, I also see here that the Exceptional Learners Division conducted this RFP, but I was under the impression, given our policies, that the board directs the purchasing agent to do this. So I'm kind of a little confused as to how we got to an RFP that we didn't know about ahead of time.
Okay, so the purchasing agent does direct the RFP. They lead the opening of the RFP. They kind of go through that whole process. They log, by law, they're required to log and ensure that they get the responses. Usually the division that is going to be engaging in the request for proposal has to engage with opening the proposal because you need to find a vendor or a bid that is relevant and can complete what you need to have completed. So it's overseen in collaboration with the business department. It's not, we have to collaborate, right? We don't want a vendor that is not really going to be able to meet the need the district needs. So the Exceptional Learners Department would definitely have to be involved in picking someone to go through that process.
I understand that. What I'm asking is, I understand they would have to work together. It's a need for their department.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, I saw the reasoning for why we need this. I think it's great. I think we do need this. But what I did not see anywhere was a vote to approve an RFP. It still has to come through us. This is an expenditure of $141,000.
So I know that there's some, and maybe this is something David or can explain to them, that we do requests for proposals all the time. It's a part of general municipal law. If there's a certain expenditure and we're looking for a vendor, we have to do a request for a proposal. It's by law, we have to do that. We are a non-component district. It is something that we have to do. I know that there's a misunderstanding in that, but that's how we have to conduct business. We are not affiliated with the BOCES. We can't just go out and buy proposals. We have to put it out to the broader community, put out ads, go through a whole entire bid process, have open forums. It's a whole part of our process, our purchasing process.
I think the point is that it's not consistent with our policy, because the policy says an RFP has got to be authorized by the board.
You're authorizing it upon your approval. That's the authorization. You're authorizing it upon your approval that we went through the process of looking and seeking out bidders to complete the work. And I don't know if this is something that can be clarified by Mr. Shaw.
I'd like to look at the policy.
I'll find the policy for you.
Would the board like an opinion? Okay. I've reviewed policies 6700 and 6741. It does not appear to me that it was a requirement to have the board actually prepare and approve the RFP in this matter.
We didn't say prepare. We said authorize. We authorize the purchasing agent to issue an RFP. They prepare it.
No.
You're still indicating that the directive to have this process commenced starts with the board. That's not my opinion. My opinion, if the budget provides for the monies, the RFP is a mechanism to secure this kind of service, and it does not require the board for this kind of service to direct the preparation of an RFP.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw. Go ahead, Ms. Bello.
Okay. I understand what you're saying. It just, it doesn't seem right to me because, if it was for something else, if it was per professional service or something, we wouldn't even have gone through issuing that. But my question is, if that was the case, we issued this RFP, this resolution said we received 3 responses and that we chose one. I don't see where the other ones are at least listed, because at the very least, we're supposed to see what the other people bid.
Request. Mobile's possible bidder.
So if you recall, when we do the bids, we do provide the tabulation. This was an RFP, so there is no tabulation involved in this. It is evaluated on a rubric that is designed by the division who is putting out the RFP in collaboration with the purchasing agent. It's reviewed by a committee identified as qualified to evaluate those responses, and then their weighting is calculated, and the recommendation is made based on that. That's the process that we use with every RFP.
Thank you. Any further discussion on 13.2?
Roll call, Mr. DeRay.
Yes.
Mr. Howard. Yes. Mr. Levinstein.
Yes.
Ms. Politi.
Yes.
Ms. Christine Bello.
No.
Ms. Thomasina Bello.
No.
Ms. Boucher.
Yes.
Mr. Bergarelli.
Yes.
Ms. Burks.
Yes.
Thank you. We're at item 15,
Thank you.
adjourned meeting of the board. Got a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, Mr. Howard. Mr. Levinstein.
Yes.
Ms. Politi.
Yes.
Ms. Christine Bello.
Yes.
Thomasina Bello.
Yes.
Ms. Boucher.
Yes.
Mr. Bergarelli.
Yes.
Ms. Burks.
Yes.